taps, coffee brews, we're like, here we go. I'm the broken baker, chaps coming in slow. Lawyers pace, jury sits, the room hums alive. Leaning forward, screens glowing, this is where we thrive. This stream from roll real, chaps the heartbeat loud and clear. Trials come and go, but we stay near. Crimes up, crimes down, you're always here. Drops, lawyer jumps, tension spikes, we freeze frame, the jaw drop, chaps and no yikes. Not mocking the mess, just sharing the rush. Even silence feels like a crush. We read this stream from roll real, chaps the heartbeat loud and clear. Trials come and go, but we stay near. Crimes up, crimes down, you're always here. So grab your mug, don't be late, the baker's life will set it straight.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to Monday, the first day of the week, the first show of the week, the first trial of the week, because today we are going to go and look at the Dustin Duren trial. This is a trial that is out of New Hampshire. New Hampshire have been kind of up and down in the past with the cases. This is potentially a custody battle gone wrong because Dustin unalived his wife. That much is known. Then there are different stories, as there always is, because he goes on the lam with his two children. They put out an Amber Alert. He is later found. The kids are found in nothing. Nothing happens when he's apprehended. Seems okay. The kids are in good nick. The problem is his wife is at home and she's not alive. And the police believes that he was trying to unalive her. They believe it's a second-degree unaliving, reckless conduct with a deadly pew-pew, and child endangerment because he was holding one of the kids while he was holding the pew-pew. He claims self-defense. Certain evidence has been tried to be suppressed, amongst them the Amber Alert call, because they believe that would prejudice the jury. And the state claims, well, all of this is integral to the timeline, so we need it in. And this is been allowed in by the judge. So is it going to help him, going to paint him in a bad light in front of the jury? Now he is claiming self-defense. Well, that's to be seen. The defense is she was trying to take the kids away, and he had to do it. If it was because he was afraid she was going to hurt them or what, it's a little more wishy-washy why he had to do it. My psychiatrist charges $900 an hour, and most of the time is spent discussing whether what AJ says about Alaska and whether or not Sue threats are credible. I don't know about what AJ says about Alaska because sadly I will only catch the start of her show, and I know she goes way more degenerate as soon as Gabby shows up. But Sue's threats are credible. You're trying to watch an interesting topic and Lesko ruined it. Well, don't blame Lesko. He is trying out to be mod of the year. You didn't miss anything. We started 5 minutes ago with the intro and nothing else. But again, what are the claims? He says that, I believe her name is Naffziger, which is a weird name, came to his home in Berlin, New Hampshire, and they were having a custody dispute over their 2 young daughters. She then tries to take the kids against his wishes in, again, a custody battle. And he claims that she attacked him or made him fear for his life, and that's why he had to fire the pew pew. And of course, this will be a defense called, I am trying to protect myself and the kids. The state will say, on the other hand, well, he wanted to keep her from getting the kids. Where the evidence stands, I haven't done a super deep dive on this one. The kid was the one who sent this to me the other day, and then some other people mentioned it on the YouTubes and in my DMs that they wanted to watch it. So we're going to do like we always do, go into this kind of on a bare open field where we are just saying, where will the evidence lead us this time? Hey, Daria, welcome. You can't drink Sue. Well, Sue shouldn't drink Sue. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, there's a lot of Let's Go Brandon stickers out there. No, not Naffziger. 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 Oatmeal is always the breakfast. In America, the bartender is your psychiatrist. I'm not saying that a bartender would be better or worse than, but I have had some therapy sessions where I thought, why am I not drunk for this one? Hey, Swiss Mish. And Peace Geek. Hey, Casey. That's better. We need to watch for a verdict in the Robert Brooks case. I don't know what the Robert Brooks case is. Is that the one with the prison guards? I believe that. I can't remember who's covering that trial. I think it seems really. It seems weird because weren't they 4 guys accused of beating him to death, and they were on camera doing it? So interesting that the jury has been out this long. I don't know why, because I haven't watched it. I haven't followed any updates on it. I have enough true crime in my life that I don't need to go and watch other people cover it after. I am purely watching the drama. That's why what I spend all my time, because drama is so entertaining. Well, maybe you just need to do you know those small hole in the wall bars where everyone has this seat and you can't lift the chairs because the floor is so dirty that they're stuck to the floor? I always find the nicest of friends in those bars. LTL is covering it. Then go and watch it over there when the verdict comes. As I say, I just know the basic facts of it. Baker's life of crime. Well, I haven't been that criminal in my life. I've never ever caught any charges. So either I am not a criminal or I'm a smart criminal. Hey, Noodles. The drama keeps popping up all over. This is what happened. I think a lot of people were banking on a great fall. They were lining up for the Koberger trial. They were hoping for the Courtney Clenny. There's that Gilco Beach guy was supposed to go around this time, I believe. And all of it just kept punted down the road. So a lot of people lacked content. And they might not want to do like I do, just find some random trial in Podunk, Iowa, and sit and follow that because, hey, those cases are often the funniest ones. All these big media hype, yeah, they're good for numbers, but they get a little boring because everyone's covering it and everyone has an opinion. Find someone who was married to someone who had smacks with the waffle cook down in Atlanta. Those are cases you can make some good content on, or maybe someone who got pregnant through an air vent. But a lot of true crimers are lacking content, and you can always just say that, well, did you know this streamer is an asshole? Because we all are deep down. We will have said something to you or you that you can then screenshot and use against us to stir some drama and get some brownie points where people can say, "Oh, you are the victims." I've seen what happened last night on a few different channels or over the weekend, and I would just recommend everyone.
Hi, I'm Victoria.
Hi, David. Nice to meet you.
Is there any other media here besides MUR right now?
Court TV. They're here now. They're just plugging into the box here with MUR, and otherwise, I haven't seen anything for any. Just got a question.
Oh, we're not going to see the evidence with this. This is the shitty angle.
So somebody who's not in the court. Absolutely. I can give that form to you. You can fill it out.
Sure, yeah. You can return it to the office or to me or Lana. Thank you.
Vegan bacon, there's no such thing as vegan bacon. Hey, Jinxie Poo. I was on a rant that I fell out of again. No, I wanted to say everyone who believed that there was drama and people were mean to each other, go back and play NBA 2K, whatever you want, and go to an online lobby. I have never had 13-year-old guys tell me to F my mother as much as in an online lobby. So you can call me a misogynist, Dutch person with downs, all you want. It doesn't really hurt me. I used to play online.
Court TV. The Court TV technician.
Yeah, he stepped out. Yes.
So you could ask him.
Go outside, touch a tree, hug a car, do something else. That's my recommendation.
Dustin.
Hey, genitals, been a hot second. You have kept me from doing my favorite thing. Good morning, genitals. Thank you for being back, genitals. It will always make me smile when I can see my genitals. Hey, sweet woman. We are all assholes. That's the first part of us that is made as we develop into babies. Exactly. And there's a lot of people who believe that, no, my favorite creator is the best person in the world. We are all fighting for the same viewers. We are all fighting out here to get a little bit of notice. So yeah, we will have people we dislike, and we might say about that person, "Oh my effing god, he looks like Skeletor from He-Man, and his voice is just as annoying." And yeah, because we also need to get some of the build-up frustration off our chest sometimes. Oh, I read that as you were a mod in Twisted's channel. I thought, oh my god. Well, lucky for you that that you got to hang out with us smart people. Defense Diary is also covering this time. Well, let's say hi to them. Been told to drink bleach more than a handful of times in the chat lobbies of the interwebs. Yeah, it's I don't say you should go around and harass people or anything, but if you have an opinion in a case, maybe in the Delphi case, that other people have a different opinion, some people are idiots and they will say something really, really mean to you. Not that I believe that you should do that, but at the other part, or the other end of it, someone calling me a fat Dutch guy, on the twit. It doesn't make me cry all night. Let me be absolutely honest. I have a few Dutch people watching me, and they are wonderful people. Some of them, I don't know if you should try traverse the taint that much. Can I explain the name Broken and Baker? Broken is because I have 2 herniated discs that I had a botched operation on, so I live in constant pain. So my back is broken. And Baker is because I spent my formative years in a bakery getting yelled at to be taught how to be a baker. So is this the fake self-defense case? I don't know enough facts about it to have any opinion about it. We'll see it as it goes. Lefty, because you were watching some fat Wisconsin guy play online and you thought, no, I need good content. The Dutch one are the best. Well. Hope you weren't too drunk. No, that's the town bicycle who called me British. I had to yell at her. Don't call me British. Dutch are from Holland or the Netherlands, but they're called Dutch in English. Probably it's the same with when you say the Pennsylvania Dutch. They're actually German because that's Deutschland. It sounds kind of like the same. But the Dutch is from Holland, the Nederlanden, the Low Countries, whatever you want to call it. But wonderful people. Some of the tallest people in Europe, but also the lowest country on the planet. Most of it is beneath sea level. You didn't know that until you followed this channel. My wife needs to be properly educated. She went to UF, so it's along University of Florida. Go Gators! Well, the Dutch are Holland. Emspire, I will block you. Yeah, it's that's why Lefty is so weird, and that he live on a diet of Bud Light and lead paint. There's only 2 things I despise in this world: intolerant people and the Dutch. Pennsylvania Dutch is German. But that's because it's Deutsch, and it sounds like Dutch, and you Yanks doesn't listen that well. The girl in the front row has sexy hair. Oh, the blonde?
They are.
I'm just hoping that we can see the evidence. It doesn't look like it with the television set being put up this way, but it covers the jury box. Hey, Baka. No, this is the guy who unalived his wife, maybe in a custody battle, maybe because she was threatening him and attacking him. We don't know. We haven't got it in so far. I don't think the Dutch are cheap. That's the Scottish. The one with black hair. This one has red hair. I'm looking at boobs. I was watching Aiden, and apparently he get unsolicited boobs all the time. What's wrong with me? Baker is my favorite person from Denmark. Thank you so much, Miami Spice, because I know you have a lot of favorite people in Denmark that I am number one is making me happy. You are also my favorite Floridian. Well, you and Little D, you are tied at number one. Yeah, we haven't seen Helen from Holland in a couple of weeks now. Well, it depends. Aren't the Pennsylvania Dutch... What's that religion? It's the Mennonite. Aren't they Mennonite? Yeah, Mennonites. Yeah. What about Sarah Boone? Sarah Boone is in a custody battle with her husband. I don't think they have a ruling yet. There are some great channels out there. I watch them sometimes who cover the Sarah Boone custody battle. Yeah, if it's as bad as the other day, we might find something else because it was really, really annoying in the Florida case last week that we couldn't see the evidence. We'll just sit here and yeah, let's wait and see how bad it is. Yes, this is a new trial. It's the Dustin Duren trial out of New Hampshire. Did he unalive his wife to protect himself and the kids, or did he unalive the wife because they were in a custody battle? That is what this trial is centered around, as far as I know. I haven't done the deep dive because, hey, this is one of these run-of-the-mill trials we'll jump in and out of. Those are some great New York boobs. What? Does that mean they have meningitis? I don't even know. Fedorowski, I don't know. Those Yanks has a lot of weird religions that we don't know about because we're normal people. We just have the People's Church that will tell us what to do and then we'll die and go to heaven. Who's not my... Oh, Sarah Boone. Oh, she's my favorite Floridian. Well, no, I'm just in love with her. Yeah, apparently there was like a custody battle. Again, I haven't done the deep dive. I'm just... They are New Order Amish, Old Order Amish Mennonite. Apparently they're really good craftsmen. Oh, sorry. I need to do this.
Yo, stop the chat. It's a birthday vibe and we're all in that. Could've gone out, could've chilled offline, but you showed up and that's just fine. No balloons, no big parade. We've got better this crew homemade. The happy freaking birthday right here live. You showed up, now we thrive. Cake emojis in full attack. Streams on fire, no turning back. Your birthday, and you're here? That's legendary behavior. Thanks for showing up today. This stream's your party, press replay. No balloons, no big parade. We've got better this crew homemade. The happy freaking birthday right here live. You showed up, now we thrive. Cake emojis in full attack. Streams on fire, no turning back. On your birthday, and you're here. That's legendary behavior. Thanks for showing up today. This stream's your party, press replay.
Happy birthday, Marissa. 25 years old and looking as good as she did when she was 24. Everyone, please wish Marissa a happy birthday. She's the one who yells at me enough that I get up a bit and start covering trials, or get me court documents, calls, all the weirdos that we have to talk to at courts, and even write letters to try and get court feeds sometimes. So wish Wondermod a happy birthday, and Someone has two. Two what? But Marissa, 25 years old today, and she is fostering a puppy. She hasn't slept all night because that poor little puppy needed someone to be with it and give it warmth. So not only is she a wonder mod and a birthday child, but also a very, very good foster mom to a little bitty puppy who needs a lot of love right these days. So even though she always comes off as mean and yelling at me and supporting Sue all the time, she is actually a good person behind the scenes sometimes. Paula B, this is Club 27. Look how nice everyone is. Well, it's my birthday song. Sarah Boone wants all kinds of phone calls and visit with her son, but her son is now a teen who also plays football. Brian proposed 12 years, visits a year, and some phone calls. Yeah, and apparently someone who sends these, she sends her letters to someone who then types it up and then sends it to court. And they had left out a page in one of her filings, so she got mad again. Peeing on you means they love you. Just ask Brandon because his beagle still pees on him every night. Boone would have to pay the cost for the phone calls. That's so dumb. Well, she can make money. But no, Marissa, dogs peeing on you just means you're loved. Because Brandon tells me that if I want to buy his beagle, he'll ship it to me for free and pay me to take it. And it'll pee on me every single day because it's a lovely beagle. This chat room is all females. Yes, especially Zach.
There's no videotaping of the photographs of the jury. We're on the same page about that. No video photographs of the jury. No depictions at all. Okay, just have to say that we discussed.
And we were able to move that monitor a little bit over to make sure we block it.
Oh, perfect. Sounds fabulous. I'm the clerk. And then just, just the clerk. All right, thank you very much.
Are we going to go at some point? Or are we just going to talk to the press about who they can tape? Oh, don't get a hairless cat. They are the nastiest things that you can see. Wow. After the blind hairless mole that looks like a pee-pee with teeth, a hairless cat is the most disgusting creature I've ever seen on the planet. Can I do a poll male versus female? I don't see gender or color, so I don't care. I can tell you that 86% of my audience, I believe, is female. Talking about being female. Hey, Jamester. Well, don't talk that much. We are trying to hear what's going on in trial, Jamie. Relax a bit.
Morning.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I cut you off when you were about to say happy birthday to Marissa because it's Marissa's birthday today, Jamie. I'm sorry I cut you off just as you were about to say it.
Oh, is it Marissa's birthday? Happy birthday, Marissa. She's the best.
She is the best. But not good enough that Jamie want to say happy birthday to me.
I didn't know it was her birthday today.
Maybe you should watch the show sometimes. It's on the bottom of the screen.
I just got here. 25 years old. Oh, she never looked better.
And Pete's Pony is here. It's also a little bit the time since we saw Pete's Pony. Genitals is here today, Jamie.
Genitals and Peace Pony?
Yeah. Now we just need Helen from Holland. Then the gang is back together.
I know. I feel like everybody's getting back together. I don't even remember what 25 was like anymore.
25 was walking up and down the floor with a baby with colic. No, that was
Ooh.
24. 25 was walking up and down the floor with a baby getting teeth.
That was your 25?
Yeah.
Not
Well,
too
Kelly,
bad.
I didn't say you didn't make the list. I said you weren't number one on the list because that's Miami and Little D.
Yeah, everyone is 25 today.
Well, I'm 27.
No.
Nobody likes you when you're 23. Yeah. What song was that from, Jamie?
I have no idea.
When
Nobody
you're
likes you when you're
23.
What is it?
Is it Weezer? No. Oh. I can't remember. Hey, Lubin Dubin. You changed your name. Hey, alles. Wie geht's, Harry? Jamie, can you say Guten Tag, Harry?
Guten Tag, Harry.
It's Blink 182.
Is that
Jamie,
who
you
it
should
is?
know that.
Yeah, you should have known that. That's not one of my.
I'm not 25 years old like you are. I didn't rock out to Blink 182.
I didn't either. I wasn't a fan. Sorry if that's. It wasn't my style of music. I was a boy band girl. That's what I liked.
Well, wasn't they a boy band?
No, not the type of boy band I liked. I was boy band, Britney Spears, that type of music in the day.
Britney Spears isn't a boy band.
Well, I'm just saying that type.
And anime needs to goes on and bring the Beatles in here. I think the Beatles are very overrated.
Yeah, I was never like them either. But
No, it's well, some of it is okay, but she loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, did you waste a couple of days writing that text?
yes, I know Britney Spears isn't a boy band. I was just saying that type of music. Like I was more into that stuff.
And Sunshine, alles means all in German as well. Harry is our friend from Germany.
Morning. Thank you. Please remain standing for jury. Remain standing for the honorable jury.
Everyone says you picked the worst Beatles song.
When I'm 64, will you still hold me? Will you hold me? No, let me get some Elvis.
Yes, Britney is cray now. Just with that. Poor thing.
Oh yeah, when she's doing her knife dance. Did you see her husband said that she banged on the first night?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's just,
Who cares?
yeah, like, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please stand for your oath. Mr. Duren, if you could remain standing and face the jury, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your right hand and keep them raised during the oath.
Please turn on the microphone at the judge's table. We're not going to do a week again with horrible microphones, Jamie. Then we're going to yell at the kid and say, find a better case.
Charges now, again, this is document number 214, 2024 CR 28. This is charge ID 2217221C. The state alleges that Dustin
Well, I got my girlfriend pregnant within the first 14 days of us knowing each other, so
February 29, 2024.
it happens.
Yeah, sure happens.
With force and arms did commit the crime of second-degree murder. In that Dustin Mark Duren did recklessly cause the death of Caitlyn Naffziger under circumstances.
Right now, you can't hear it, but the judge is reading the charges. I hope the audio will pick up.
statute such case made and provided against the dignity of the state.
I put the blast on, so let's hear the charges. I forgot I have that.
Charges now, again, this is docket number 214, 2024, CR 28. This is charge ID 2217221C. The state alleges that Dustin Mark Duren of or formerly of Berlin in the state of New Hampshire on February 29, 2024 at Berlin in the county of Coas aforesaid with force and arms did commit the crime of second-degree murder, in that Dustin Mark Duren did recklessly cause the death of Caitlyn Naffziger under circumstances manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life by shooting her with a firearm, said acts being contrary to the form of the statute in such case made and provided against the peace and dignity of the state. The next charge ID is 2217222C. The state alleges that Dustin Mark Duren of or formerly of Berlin in the state of New Hampshire on February 29th of 2024 at Berlin in the county of Coas aforesaid with force and arms did commit the crime of reckless conduct with a deadly weapon, in that Dustin Mark Duren did recklessly engage in conduct which placed another ED in danger of serious bodily injury, to wit, by shooting Caitlyn Naffziger with a firearm while holding ED, said acts being contrary to the form of the statute, such case made and provided against the peace and dignity of the state. The next charge ID is charge ID number 2217223C. The state alleges that Dustin Mark Duren on or about February 29th of 2024 did commit the offense of endangering the welfare of a child in the laws of New Hampshire, for which the defendant should be held to answer, and that the defendant did knowingly endanger the welfare of a child, age 4, by purposely violating a duty of care, protection, or support he owes to such child, to wit, by shooting Caitlyn Naffziger in the presence of this child and while said child was being held by Dustin Mark Duren against the peace and dignity of the state. Next charge ID is 2237508C. The state alleges that Dustin Mark Duren of or formerly of Berlin in the state of New Hampshire on February 29th of 2024 at Berlin in the county of Coas aforesaid with force and arms to commit the crime of second-degree murder, in that Dustin Mark Duren did knowingly cause the death of Caitlyn Naffziger by shooting her with a firearm, said acts being contrary to the form of the statute, such case made and provided against the peace and dignity of the state. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant is in arraigned on the charges and has pleaded not guilty, and unless he puts himself upon this country for trial, which country you are, the Attorney General of the state has joined the issue, and you are to say by your verdict if the defendant is guilty of the crimes whereof he stands charged or not guilty. Hearken to the evidence. Mr. Duren, you may be seated.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Kovalato. Good morning again, members of the jury. Thank you for your punctuality. Thank you for your service. Okay, you are about to hear opening statements by counsel. Before that, I'm going to give you some general instructions as to the law that applies to this case, which will give you some guidance as you consider the evidence in this case. At the end of the case, after you have heard the evidence and closing arguments, I will give you further instructions, and then you will retire to the jury deliberation room to decide your verdict. You will receive a written copy of these instructions when you are ready to deliberate. In order to reach a fair and just verdict, you must understand and follow the law as I explain it to you. For example, you have to understand the definitions of the crimes with which the defendant is charged. You have to understand how convinced one way or the other you should be before you reach your verdict, and you have to understand what to consider in deciding whether to believe a particular witness. These instructions, as I said, will explain the law as to these and other matters so that you can reach a fair and just verdict. It is up to you to decide the facts of this case. You and you alone are the judges of the facts. You must decide the facts solely from the evidence in this trial. You apply the facts as you find them to be to the law as I give it to you in these instructions, and in this way, you reach your verdict. You should decide the facts in this case without prejudice, without fear, and without sympathy. You are to decide the facts based only on the evidence, and the evidence in this case consists of the testimony under oath of the witnesses and any exhibits which are admitted into evidence. Those exhibits will go with you into the jury deliberation room. There are certain other matters that you may not consider as evidence. The fact that the defendant has been arrested and charged with a crime is not evidence of his guilt. In this case, the defendant was charged by means of a document called an indictment. An indictment is simply a way of giving the defendant notice of the accusations against him. This type of document is a formal way of accusing him of a crime in order to bring him to trial. In your deliberations, you must not consider the fact of the defendant's arrest, the indictment, or the defendant.
I need 77 more subscribers, then I'll hit 20,000 subscribers. 19.9 thousand subs Is it time for some Tylenol jokes to take that down a few notches? Since you started your Tylenol jokes, we started growing. So maybe go back, not doing those, and it'll go away.
Is being brought to stand trial as evidence of the defendant's guilt. The possible punishment the defendant may receive if you return a guilty verdict should not influence your decision. The duty of imposing sentence is solely for the judge, and you should consider the evidence presented and base your verdict only on the evidence without considering the issue of punishment. What the lawyers say to you is not evidence. In their opening statements and their closing arguments, the lawyers will
They are always innocent until proven guilty. So right now we don't have any facts. So I believe him 100% innocent.
discuss their view of the facts to help you understand the evidence from their point of view. But the lawyers are not witnesses in this matter, and therefore they cannot testify. Therefore, what they say to you is not evidence in the case. If the lawyers state the evidence differently from how you recall it, then you should follow your own memory of what the evidence was. Also, if the lawyers state the law differently from the law as I explain it to you in these instructions, then you must disregard what the lawyers have said about the law and follow my instructions. It is quite common during a trial for the lawyers to make objections. Lawyers are supposed to object when they believe that certain evidence may not be admissible under our rules of evidence. Please do not hold it against either party if they make these objections, and sometimes these objections require bench conferences. If I sustain an objection and I exclude any evidence, you must not guess as to what the evidence might have been. If I order that a question and answer be stricken from the record, you must not consider either the question or the answer as evidence. Likewise, if I overrule an objection and I admit certain evidence, then you must not give that evidence any special weight as a result of my ruling. I am not expressing views as to the importance of evidence when I make my rulings. I am merely applying the law, as is my duty.
I don't think that.
Throughout the trial, I must be fair and impartial, just as you are required to be. So if I say or do anything
I'll
during
do
the
a
trial
couple
that
of my
causes
logs
you
in
to
a
believe that I
celebration
favor
treat.
one party over the other, I now instruct you that I do not favor either party in this case. The role of the judge is to run the trial in a fair and orderly manner, to decide the admissibility of evidence, and to instruct you, the jury, on the law that applies to the case. You, and you alone, as I said, are the judges of the facts, and you decide the verdict. Now that I've told you what you must not consider, I'm going to tell you what you can consider as evidence. You should consider the testimony of witnesses and any exhibits that may have been introduced as evidence. In other words, you should consider only the legally admissible evidence and reasonable inferences that you can draw from the evidence. By reasonable inferences, I mean conclusions which reason and common sense lead you to draw from the facts that are proven to your satisfaction. There are two ways for a party to prove a particular fact in the case, either through direct or circumstantial evidence. Direct evidence is direct proof of a fact, such as the testimony of a witness based upon personal knowledge. That is, what the witness actually saw, heard, or otherwise directly experienced. Circumstantial evidence is indirect evidence, which tends to prove a disputed fact by proof of other facts. In other words, circumstantial evidence is proof of a chain of facts and inferences that tend to prove whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty. Let me give you a brief example to demonstrate the difference between direct and circumstantial evidence. Assume that when you enter the courthouse, it is cloudy outside. While you are in the court, you see someone come into the building who is wearing rain boots, the person is soaking wet, and they are closing an umbrella. If you could actually look out the window and see for yourself that there is rain falling from the sky, that would be direct evidence that it is raining outside. In contrast, if you cannot see for yourself whether it is raining outside, you still could consider the facts and circumstances of the person you observed entering the court with the rain boots and umbrella to determine whether it is raining outside. That is an example of circumstantial evidence. You should consider both types of evidence, direct and circumstantial. There is no legal distinction between the weight of direct evidence as compared to circumstantial evidence. You are permitted to give equal weight to both, but you must decide how much weight to give any evidence, whether it be direct or circumstantial. There is, however, a rule relating to circumstantial evidence that you must keep in mind. If the state presents only circumstantial evidence to prove one or more elements of a charged offense, then in order to convict, you must find that the totality of the evidence as to those elements excludes all reasonable conclusions other than guilt. This means if it is reasonable to arrive at two conclusions, one consistent with guilt and one consistent with innocence, then you must choose the reasonable conclusion consistent with innocence. In determining whether all reasonable conclusions other than guilt have been excluded, you should not consider any item of circumstantial evidence in isolation. Rather, you should consider each item of circumstantial evidence in the context of all the other evidence. You must understand, however, that this circumstantial evidence rule does not apply to direct evidence. If there is a conflict between two or more witnesses who offer direct evidence concerning certain facts, you must decide which witness to believe. For example, suppose there are two eyewitnesses to a crime. and one testifies that the defendant committed the crime, and the other testifies that the defendant did not commit the crime. This presents a situation where there is a conflict in the direct evidence. In this situation, you, the jury, must decide which witness to believe and whether, based upon all of the evidence, the state has proven the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Similarly, if only one witness provides direct evidence concerning an offense charged, then you must decide whether to believe that particular witness, considering the factors I will outline and any other considerations you would ordinarily use in deciding whether to believe a person based upon your common sense and good judgment. Now, in reviewing the evidence, you should consider the quality of the evidence and not the quantity. It is not the number of witnesses or the quantity of the evidence that is important, but the quality of the evidence. That is, how persuasive the evidence is to you. In summary, you should consider all the evidence in the case and decide whether the state has proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In deciding this case, you must decide the credibility of witnesses. That is, it is up to you to decide who to believe. If there is any conflict between the witnesses, then you must resolve the conflict. Simply because a witness has taken an oath to tell the truth does not mean that you have to accept the testimony as true. Use your common sense and judgment. Consider factors you use in deciding important issues in your everyday lives. For example, you may consider the following: the witness's appearance, attitude, and behavior on the witness stand and the way the witness testified, the witness's age, intelligence, and experience, the witness's opportunity and ability to see or hear the things about which the witness testified, the accuracy of the witness's memory, any motive of the witness not to tell the truth, any interest that a witness had in the outcome of the case, any bias of the witness or friendship or animosity the witness may have for or against any of the other people in the case, the consistency or inconsistency of the witness's testimony, whether or not what the witness said appears reasonable or unreasonable, whether what the witness said is consistent or inconsistent with the testimony of other witnesses or with statements the witness made at another time. In deciding which witnesses to believe and how much of their testimony to believe, you should consider both the direct and cross-examination of the witnesses. If you believe that part of a witness's testimony is false, you may choose to distrust other parts also, but you are not required to do so. Inconsistencies and contradictions within a witness's testimony or between witnesses do not necessarily mean that you should disbelieve the witness. It is possible for honest people to witness the same event and see or hear things differently. You should evaluate inconsistencies and contradictions and determine whether they are important or unimportant. You need not believe any witness even though the testimony is uncontradicted, nor are you required to accept testimony as true simply because some or even all of the witnesses agree with each other. You may find the testimony of one witness or of a few witnesses more persuasive than the testimony of a larger number. The principles I have outlined regarding judging the credibility of witnesses apply to all witnesses, whether they are ordinary civilians, police officers, or otherwise. In short, you should consider the testimony of each witness and give it the weight you think it deserves. You can accept all of what a witness says, you can reject all of what a witness says, or you can accept some of it and reject some of it. It is up to you. Now, I've addressed what you should not consider and what you should consider in reaching a verdict. I am now going to discuss how convinced one way or the other you must be, and this is referred to as the burden of proof. Under both our state and federal constitutions, all defendants in criminal cases are presumed to be innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proving guilt rests entirely on the state. The defendant does not have to prove his innocence. The defendant enters this courtroom as an innocent man, and you must consider him to be an innocent man until the state convinces you beyond a reasonable doubt that he is guilty. If, after all the evidence and arguments, you have a reasonable doubt as to whether the defendant committed any one or more elements of the offense, then you must find him not guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, a reasonable doubt is just what the words would ordinarily imply. The use of the word reasonable means simply that the doubt must be reasonable rather than unreasonable. It must be a doubt based on reason. It is not a frivolous or fanciful doubt, nor is it one that can easily be explained away. Rather, it is such a doubt based on reason as remains after consideration of all the evidence the state has offered against it. The test you must use is this. If you have a reasonable doubt as to whether the state has proven any one or more of the elements of the crime charged, you must find the defendant not guilty. However, if you find the state has proven all of the elements of the offense charged beyond a reasonable doubt, you should find the defendant guilty. During the course of the trial, you can get to know your fellow jurors, but you are not allowed to talk about the case or the evidence until you begin deliberating. It is quite natural to want to talk to your fellow jurors about the case as it unfolds, but it is really important that you not do that. If you have those conversations during the trial, it tends to cause you to form opinions about what you think the outcome ought to be before you have heard all of the evidence. Cases are presented in a certain order. The state has the burden of proof, so it will present evidence first. Because the defendant is presumed innocent, he has no obligation to present any evidence, but he has a right to do so if he wants to. So you may not hear evidence from the defense until later in the case. If the defendant chooses to exercise his absolute constitutional right not to testify or present any evidence, you cannot hold that against him or draw any negative inferences based on this. Even if the defendant chooses not to present evidence, the importance of certain pieces of evidence may not become apparent until the lawyers make their closing arguments. You will have plenty of time to discuss the evidence and testimony with your fellow jurors when you retire to deliberate. After all of the evidence has been submitted and both sides have presented their closing arguments, I will give you further instructions about the law that applies to this case, including definitions of the crimes charged and other issues that might arise during the course of the trial. If at any point, if any of you cannot see or hear any witness or any of the attorneys while they have the floor, please raise your hand and we will address it. Thank you. The other thing I would like to say at this time is we typically will take a mid-morning break, we'll take a lunch break, and we'll take a mid-afternoon break. I try to time those breaks based upon the overall flow of the trial and based upon the presentation of witness testimony. I try to do my best to make sure that we don't go too long, so we'll do that as we go through the evidence. Okay? All right, ready to proceed?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get to it. And I don't, Jamie, do we need a poll? Is it a rock or is it his own hair? I can see
You should see how-
chat are discussing if it's his real hair. We're gonna do a poll.
Yeah, do a poll. I think it's real. Looks real.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Caitlyn Naffziger. You can see her here with her daughter, Ellen. In this photo, you can see her as she was in life, holding one of her children close. She's dead now. She's dead because the defendant, Dustin Duren, the father of her children, murdered her. As Caitlyn sat on the couch, holding her 4-year-old daughter Ellen on her lap, very much like you see there, the defendant ripped Ellen from Caitlyn's arms. He stepped back, pointed his 9mm Beretta semi-automatic pistol at Caitlyn's head, and pulled the trigger. The defendant was still holding Ellen in his arms when he murdered her mother. The sound of the gunshot hurt Ellen's ears. After the defendant killed Caitlyn, he took Ellen and her 1-year-old sister, Valen. He packed their things, put them in his car, and began driving. He got all the way to Concord, where he called his parents, and he confessed. He told them that he had killed Caitlyn. He said he was going dark, and he shut off his phone, making it impossible.
Yes, I am a fully trained licensed baker and all of that. I went to school for 4 years to become a baker. Yes, he admitted pulling the trigger because he claims it's self-defense.
For the authorities to track his location. The defendant's father called the Berlin police. The police went to the defendant's apartment and found Caitlyn there, dead. A few hours later, in the early morning hours of March 1st, 2024, an Amber Alert went out, including descriptions of the defendant, the girls, and the defendant's car. It was that Amber Alert that led to the defendant's arrest, after a citizen told the Keene police that she saw the defendant's car heading in the direction of an Applebee's in Keene. The police found the defendant in his car in the parking lot of Applebee's. Elowen and Valen were in the back
What's
seat.
illegal in Denmark?
The murder weapon, that 9mm Beretta semi-automatic pistol, was in the driver's side door. After his arrest, the defendant gave an interview with the New Hampshire State Police. He told them his version of the story, his version of what happened between him and Caitlyn. He told the police that he wanted Caitlyn to leave his apartment, and when she wouldn't, he got angry. He tried to take Elowen from Caitlyn, but she refused, and he got angry. So he went to his desk, grabbed his gun, and used it to kill the mother of his children. You can see the words "very deliberate" up there on the screen. Those are his words, the defendant's words. Those are the words that he used to describe his killing of Caitlyn Naffziger when he spoke to the police. Ladies and gentlemen of this jury, this will not be a case that is difficult to understand. This will not be a whodunit. There will be no mystery. The evidence will prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Dustin Duren murdered Caitlyn Naffziger. The evidence will also show you why he did it. This is a case about anger and control. According to the defendant, he and Caitlyn had argued over the course of the day. He wanted her to leave and go back to Minnesota, where she was from. And when Caitlyn refused to do what he wanted, when he couldn't control her actions, he got angry. So he took his gun, pointed it at Caitlyn, and pulled the trigger. It was, as he said, a very deliberate act. During this trial, the state will provide you with evidence that proves beyond a reasonable doubt that Dustin Duren is guilty of the murder of Caitlyn Naffziger, as well as the crimes of reckless conduct with a deadly weapon and endangerment of a child. You will be given that evidence in the form of witness testimony, photographs, videos, and physical evidence. And right now, we're going to talk about some of that evidence. Caitlyn Naffziger and Dustin Duren were both from Minnesota. Together, they had two daughters, Elowen and Valen. In February of 2024, Elowen was 4 years old, and Valen was 1. Caitlyn and the defendant did not have a good relationship. It was rocky. By January of 2024, things were not in a good place. That month, the defendant moved from Minnesota to New Hampshire. He brought Elowen with him. Caitlyn and Valen remained in Minnesota. The defendant drove from Minnesota with Elowen, and on January 23rd, he moved into an apartment in Berlin. That apartment was at 1063 Main Street. You can see 1063 Main Street here. It's a multifamily home. in Berlin, the defendant's apartment was on the ground floor. After the defendant and Elowen arrived in New Hampshire, the defendant and Caitlyn argued over the phone and through text messages. They argued about the children and their future. On February 27th, Caitlyn and Valen flew to Boston. They took a bus from the airport to New Hampshire, where they met family, and they spent the night with that family on the seacoast. The next day was the 28th. That day, Caitlyn and Valen got a ride and were dropped off at a restaurant in Ossipee. There, they met the defendant and Elowen. After having lunch, the defendant drove them all in his car back to Berlin. They spent the night at 1063 Main Street, that apartment that you saw. The defendant believed that after this visit, Caitlyn was going to return home to Minnesota without either of the girls. That was what he wanted. The next day, February 29th, according to the defendant, he asked Caitlyn repeatedly when her aunt was going to come pick her up. He asked her every 15 minutes because he wanted her to leave. He didn't want her there. Caitlyn ignored him. After repeated questions from the defendant about when she was going to leave, Caitlyn told him, "I'm not leaving, I'm staying."
For those of you who are getting in here late, this is New Hampshire. This is a guy who either unalived his estranged wife when she was attacking him while holding a baby, or unaliving her because they had a custody battle. He claims self-defense, the state claims second degree and endangerment of a baby because apparently he was holding a small child while he did it. So opening statements just begun, and this guy already made us sleep.
Yeah.
During the course of that day, according to the defendant, Caitlyn threatened to call the police and have the children taken away from him. This continued throughout the day. That evening, after a day of asking Caitlyn when she would leave, and a day of Caitlyn not doing what he wanted her to do, the defendant got angry. He was so angry that he started packing up Caitlyn's things so that he could drive her to the seacoast, do it himself. His plan was to load Caitlyn, her things, and both girls into the car, drive Caitlyn to her family and drop her off, and then return back to Berlin with both of the girls. The defendant put the younger daughter, Valen, in her car seat. Caitlyn remained sitting on the couch, holding Elowen in her arms. Similar to that photo. Caitlyn did not want to leave. The defendant tried to grab Elowen from Caitlyn, but Caitlyn would not let go. She continued to hold Elowen. She didn't want to leave. This made the defendant even angrier. Angry that Caitlyn refused to leave his apartment, and angry that she refused to let go of her daughter Elowen, the defendant had had enough. In his mind, the line had been crossed. Those are his words. Those are the words he told the police, and he described to them why he killed Caitlyn and what was going through his head. By refusing to allow him to take her child from her arms, Caitlyn had crossed the line. This is a diagram of the defendant's apartment at 1063 Main Street. If you look at the living room, you can see that there is a couch, a coffee table in front of it, and then a desk on the other side of the room. Those black bars that you see represent the doorways in the apartment. And you can see the back door is down a hallway on the left side. Caitlyn was sitting on the couch in front of the coffee table with Elowen on her lap. According to the defendant, after he tried and failed to take Elowen from Caitlyn as she sat on the couch, he crossed the room and went to his desk. From his desk, he grabbed this, his Beretta 9mm semi-automatic pistol. That gun had a loaded magazine in it, but no bullet in the chamber. According to the defendant, after he grabbed the gun, he racked it on the slide back, putting a bullet in the chamber. The gun was now ready to fire. The defendant walked back across the room from his desk, around the coffee table, and stood in front of Caitlyn, to her left. He grabbed Elowen and ripped her from her mother's arms with his left arm. He was holding that pistol in his right. After grabbing Elowen, holding her in his left arm, he stepped back and pointed his gun at Caitlyn's head. At this point, Caitlyn was sitting on the couch alone. She was unarmed. The defendant stood between Caitlyn and the exit. Elowen in one arm, gun in the other. At that time, Caitlyn did not have a car, she did not have a bus ticket, and her family was hours away. As Caitlyn sat on that couch, holding Elowen in his arm, after stepping back, the defendant pulled the trigger. He did not miss. He fired one bullet. That bullet entered Caitlyn's skull from the left side of her head. It traveled through her brain and exited the right side. The gunshot was loud. According to the defendant, Elowen immediately started grabbing her ear and complaining of the noise. The defendant went to the garage and put her in the car. This is what the defendant told the detectives later about what he was thinking at that moment after shooting Caitlyn in the head. He told them that he knew, in his words, that he was screwed. He understood what had happened, and he understood the consequences. He went back in the house. He got Valen, who was still in her car seat. He grabbed clothes for himself and for the girls. He grabbed food and water. He grabbed pillows and blankets. He put all of these things into his car. He grabbed his desktop computer. You can see it there in the defendant's trunk. After packing up those supplies with both girls in the car, the defendant started to drive. The defendant left his apartment in Berlin sometime between 5:38 p.m. and 6 p.m. on February 29th. He drove to Concord, arriving a little bit before 9 p.m. In Concord, the defendant sent a video of the girls to his mother, and then he called his parents. At 10:08 p.m. in Concord, he called them and told them what he had done. He said, "I killed Caitlyn." He said, "You should probably call the police." He also said, "I'm going to go dark. I'm not turning off my phone." He said he would turn himself in, but he wanted some time with the girls before he did it. At about 10:22 p.m., the defendant did turn off his phone. According to him, he drove west into New York State. At some point, he stopped, and he and the girls slept in the car in the back seat. According to the defendant, when he woke up the next morning, he decided to turn himself in. So he started driving back to New Hampshire. As the defendant drove through Keene the morning of March 1st, he decided to have breakfast somewhere with his girls. While driving, he was seen and he was placed under arrest. The murder weapon, that 9mm Beretta semi-automatic pistol, was in the door, still loaded. That was March 1st. The evidence in this case will prove to you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant is guilty of knowing second-degree murder and the alternative charge of reckless second-degree murder for killing Caitlyn Naffziger. It will also prove that he committed the crimes of reckless conduct with a deadly weapon and endangerment of a child. The evidence will prove to you that the defendant was not provoked when he pulled that trigger, and that the killing of Caitlyn Naffziger was not justified. When asked by a detective Caitlyn had threatened to harm anyone. He said no. When asked by a detective if he knew he was endangering Elowen by firing a gun so close to her, he said yes. The evidence will prove to you that the defendant caused Caitlyn's death merely because he was angry and nothing more. You will hear testimony during this trial from state troopers and police officers who will describe how they investigated this case and how they gathered important pieces of evidence. You will hear from the medical examiner who conducted an autopsy of Caitlyn's body. An intelligence analyst with the New Hampshire State Police will describe for you how she used cell phone location data to map the defendant's movements before he turned his phone off. You will hear testimony from an expert firearms examiner who will tell you that the gun that fired the bullet that killed Caitlyn was the defendant's. And you will hear what the defendant told the police when they interviewed him and when he confessed. His version of the story. After his arrest, the defendant spoke with the state police at length. That interview was audio and video recorded. You will be able to see it for yourselves. You will be able to see the defendant's body language, his demeanor, and his tone of voice. You will see that the defendant was calm and in control when he described killing Caitlyn Naffziger.
It's the most boring opening I've heard
Already shown
ever.
you a few of the things that he said
So
during
low
that
energy.
interview. You will see those and more presented during this trial. Those statements are just some of the evidence that will prove that the defendant is guilty. Caitlyn is dead. She is dead because the defendant became angry when she refused to leave his apartment. And she is dead because she would not stop holding her 4-year-old daughter. And that made the defendant mad. So he grabbed his gun, took Caitlyn's daughter away from her, and shot her in the head. After you have heard all the evidence in this case, it will be up to you, the jury, to deliberate and deliver a verdict. When that time comes, when you have had all of the evidence placed in front of you, you will know, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant is guilty. You will know that the defendant murdered Caitlyn Naffziger. Just like the defendant knew from the moment that he fired his gun, you will know that he's guilty.
Jesus Christ, guy, and you didn't even finish on a high note. So the prosecution will prove that she got unalived because she was holding on to a baby. That's what I gathered from all of his. And we won't be able to see any of the evidence, apparently, because the screen is on the other side. So, okay, let's see what the defense claims. No, he was holding the child, which is still endangering a child. It's come on now, give us some energies.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Oh, they need a sidebar. Almost 66 or 69. That's not loud at all.
No, that's super annoying.
Yeah. Maybe I should just turn it down. Yeah, that'll wake you up after listening to that prosecutor. Hey, Katie P. But again, I think Ricada said it best back when he started covering trials. All of these prosecutors, they need to take some story lessons. They need to learn how to tell a story because they are so boring. So boring. And I don't know what's happening. I something with a baby and breakfast. And they took a trip to somewhere. I think I lost it when they were talking about that trip. I was thinking, okay, I'll just check some DMs I got. No boobs. And then I
Yeah, I
lost it.
zoned out. I zoned out a little bit. I
Yeah.
was trying to. I mean, he wasn't trying to be too fantastical with the details, but it was just kind of like
But
zoned
there was
out a
too
little.
little detail. And yes, Brandon, I do remember when Jamie told you to die more quietly.
I did not. Well, it didn't work, did it, Brandon? You're still kicking.
Yeah, I don't need that part.
This case is about broken promises, secret plans,
No
and a father's unyielding love. It's about a Marine reacting to a threat toward his beloved daughter. A horrific tragedy, but not a criminal offense. Dustin Duren is not guilty. Dustin, a Marine veteran, responded to a threat when he shot Caitlyn one time. He saw his daughter being held hostage in front of him. He believed his daughter was in danger of being hurt, in danger of being a pawn in a custody dispute, in danger of being taken away from him, in danger of being kidnapped. The law allows for deadly force to be used against another in certain circumstances. The law says Dustin's actions were justified. He's not guilty of murder. He is not guilty of reckless conduct. He is not guilty of endangering the welfare of a child. You will hear that Caitlyn agreed with a plan to let Dustin take their daughter Ellen to Berlin, New Hampshire from Minnesota, and that she would follow later with their younger daughter Valen. You will hear that she later changed her mind, but did not tell Dustin. Instead, she flew to Boston with their 1-year-old Valen, and then planned with her aunt to take Ellen and Valen from their father in the middle of the night while he was sleeping. To carry out the secret plan, Caitlyn and Valen went to Berlin, stayed the night at Dustin's, and then ignored Dustin's requests for her to leave. Dustin decided he would need to bring Caitlyn back to the seacoast where her aunt lived. And when he tried to get the kids ready to leave, Caitlyn told Dustin no, she was not leaving. She demanded Dustin pay her more money. She threatened Dustin she was going to call the police and lie to them, accusing him of kidnapping Elowen. She told Dustin she was taking the kids back to Minnesota and he would never see them again. While making these threats, Caitlyn remained seated on the couch.
They were in a custody battle, as far as I can understand it.
Holding on to Elowen. She would not let go of Elowen when Dustin tried to free
Someone
her.
at the door. I'll be back.
She gripped Elowen. She tugged Elowen. She bear hugged Elowen. Elowen was being held hostage right in front of Dustin. Dustin did not want to hurt Elowen. She was crying. He was worried she was being hurt. On the third attempt to free Elowen from Caitlyn's grip, Elowen let out a shriek. This was a startling and terrifying reaction that caused something in Dustin to tick. In his fear for Elowen and his need to protect her, he walked a couple feet over to his desk, got his gun, chambered around, pulled Elowen to safety, and fired one round into Caitlyn's head. Dustin Duren defended his daughter. He is not guilty. You will hear that evidence through the state's case and through the defense's case. But now I want to talk to you about Dustin. Dustin is a father and he is a Marine. These two things shape his identity and his decision-making. Dustin enlisted with the Marines when he was 18 years old. He received extensive training in firearms. He was drilled with firearms, expected to be able to assemble, load, aim, and shoot a firearm quickly, automatically, without conscious thought. Use of a firearm became automatic and instinctual to him, something that he could do quickly, accurately, and without forethought. He was trained to use a firearm to respond to threats. You will hear that Dustin was the most proficient shooter in boot camp and the squadron high shooter during annual marksmanship training. He became a certified marksmanship coach and taught hundreds of Marines how to perfect their shooting. You will also hear that Dustin had been diagnosed with service-connected PTSD and has suffered bouts of depression in the past. Before meeting Caitlyn in 2019, Dustin felt like his life was meaningless. He had no real purpose, no real reason to live. But shortly after beginning a relationship with Caitlyn, she became pregnant with their first child. Dustin's mental health began to improve. He was beginning to believe he had a purpose, having a family. He and Caitlyn lived together at his parents' home. Soon after Elwyn was born, they moved to Las Vegas and lived there together. Dustin was Elwyn's primary caretaker. He and Elwyn were bonded. At her very first Christmas, Caitlyn flew home to Minnesota, leaving Dustin and their 1-year-old Elwyn behind. You will hear that Dustin's memory of that Christmas burns bright to this day. Dustin was feeling awful about the meager Christmas he could only provide for his daughter, but her pure joy that day shifted his whole mindset. He saw her big smile and her joy, and it was a pivotal moment in his life. He thought, this is my purpose, this is my life, Elwyn. From that moment, it was like a whole world had changed. Dustin's view on everything had changed. His entire life turned to Elwyn. The two were bonded. Eventually, Caitlyn became pregnant with their second child, Valen. She was born in Las Vegas in January of 2023. By July of 2023, Dustin and Caitlyn separated, and all four returned to Minnesota. Dustin moved back in with his parents. Caitlyn moved in with a friend. For several months, they tried co-parenting. After a few months of this arrangement, Dustin and Caitlyn came to a compromise in which they would both move to New Hampshire, but live separately. They decided that Dustin would travel by car to New Hampshire first, taking Elwyn with him, and then Caitlyn would fly out later with 1-year-old Valen and leave her with Dustin. Caitlyn would then return to Minnesota for a few months to work and save some money, and then move to New Hampshire permanently in the early summer when she would have seasonal employment with her Aunt Brenda in Hampton. Dustin prepared for the trip to New Hampshire. He found an apartment in Berlin and showed Caitlyn photos of the apartment. Caitlyn gave Dustin a bunch of Elwyn and Valen's stuff to take with him. The day Dustin left, he picked Elwyn up from where Caitlyn lived, at her friend's house, and Caitlyn willingly handed over Elwyn. Caitlyn did not call the police, she did not report a kidnapping, she agreed to this plan. On their trip east, Dustin called and texted Caitlyn several times with updates. He sent pictures of Elwyn. After Dustin got to New Hampshire, he and Caitlyn had several arguments over the phone about money. Caitlyn wanted to claim both girls on their taxes and wanted Dustin to send her money. Caitlyn threatened to call the police and falsely claim that Dustin had kidnapped Elwyn and had taken her to New Hampshire without Caitlyn's permission. Dustin was worried that Caitlyn wouldn't bring Valen and that the girls would be separated. You will hear that when Caitlyn made this threat a few weeks before this incident, Dustin was alarmed. He called Caitlyn's mother. He called Caitlyn's father. He called the Berlin Police Department. He offered to let Caitlyn claim both girls on their taxes, paid for her plane ticket to New Hampshire, and sent her some money. 2 weeks later, Caitlyn and Valen did fly to Boston, as planned, on the 27th of February. Dustin knew when they would arrive in Boston, but no other details, because Caitlyn did not share those. He did not know how Caitlyn and Valen were getting to Berlin or when. He did not know if Caitlyn planned on staying in Berlin or where she would stay. He assumed she wanted to stay a couple days in Berlin to visit with Elwyn and offered for her to stay with him and the girls, but Caitlyn declined this invitation. Caitlyn had other plans, secret plans she did not share with Dustin. You will hear about the plan that Caitlyn created with her Aunt Brenda. Brenda will tell you that she lives in Hampton. She spoke to Caitlyn about her visit to New Hampshire. She will tell you that Caitlyn and Valen flew into Boston and shuttled to Seabrook, where Brenda and her friend picked them up. Brenda will tell you that Caitlyn and Valen spent the night in Hampton, and while there, Brenda and Caitlyn came up with a plan to take the kids from Dustin.
Objection. Reapproach. Yep.
She's not any better, jeez.
I'm thinking both of these two should have attempted manslaughter charges brought against them to try and bore the jury to death. This is a very interesting story that you could tell way more engaging from both sides. This crazy man who didn't want his kids to be taken. Jesus, I'm going to just keep it in my ears. This crazy man who was suffering from his PTSD and went absolutely bat crazy when she wanted to take her kids and she was just trying to protect her kids. But this man ripped the kid out of her arms and just executed her right in front of them and then went on the run. Didn't call 911, didn't do anything to try and clear this up. This was clearly premeditated. Well, it wasn't clearly because then it would be first degree, but he wouldn't give up the rights to his kids. And because he suffered from the PTSD he got as a Marine, he went to the only thing he knew how to do, unalive. And the defense could be, well, this poor man who was suffering from PTSD and just wanted the best for the kids was betrayed by the love of his life and her, and when they took a trip to Boston and planned how to get the kids from him. All he ever lived for, the only thing that kept him sane was these kids, and she knew that. And then she just, out of the blue, dropped it on him, and then she started attacking him when he said, "I'm going to keep the kids. You don't take them away from me." And she jumped at him and started beating on him. So the only option he has was to unalive her. Yes, he should have called the police, but his PTSD-riddled mind was so afraid that he just had to get out of there, and he didn't want the kids to be in the same house as the unalived mother. See, you can do it way more interesting.
Trying to be open-minded, but I don't see. I want to hear more of it, but it doesn't sound like he really had a reason to go
Had a
there.
reason.
But that's fine. We'll see.
Thank you, Davon.
Welcome back, Dave. Did they not put sound back on? Or was that you?
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
slap.
Sorry.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I forgot to put the audio back on. Let's. Well, it doesn't hurt that we can speed her up because this is slow. Yes.
While Caitlyn was visiting with her Aunt Brenda the night before she met Dustin, Brenda and Caitlyn came up with a plan to take the kids from Dustin. Brenda will tell you that she agreed to bring Caitlyn and Valen to meet up with Dustin and Elwyn, drop them off, and wait a day or two for Caitlyn to call her for a ride back with both of the girls. Caitlyn would sneak the two kids out while Dustin was sleeping, and Brenda would pick them up and take Caitlyn and her kids to the airport to fly back to Minnesota. Caitlyn already had a return ticket to Minnesota, and Brenda was going to buy a ticket for Elwyn. And Valen was young enough that she could sit on her mom's lap. You will hear that when Caitlyn texted Dustin that Brenda was driving her up, Dustin suggested they meet up at a spot halfway between Hampton and Berlin. And he found a restaurant in Ossipee. Dustin believed that Caitlyn and Brenda would have a meal with him and the girls, and then Caitlyn and Brenda would return to Hampton, while Dustin and the girls would head north to Berlin. The next day, Dustin and Elwyn drove to Ossipee and got to the restaurant first, where they waited inside the restaurant, waiting for Caitlyn and Valen. When Caitlyn arrived, she called Dustin, asking him to come outside and help with Valen's things. Dustin and Elwyn went outside to meet Caitlyn and Valen. Brenda was already gone. They put Valen's stuff in the car, and the four of them, Elwyn, Valen, Dustin, and Caitlyn, went into the restaurant to eat. Dustin and Caitlyn did not have any real conversation. Dustin visited with Valen, Caitlyn with Elwyn. Caitlyn started asking Elwyn if she could come see Elwyn's new house. Dustin was confused, since Caitlyn had said she did not want to stay with them. Caitlyn did not speak directly with Dustin, instead saying things to Elwyn, for Dustin to overhear. Dustin agreed that Caitlyn could spend a night, and so after dinner, all four of them got into Dustin's car, drove back to Berlin. Caitlyn sat in the back seat with the girls. That night, Dustin slept in his bed with Valen, and Caitlyn and Elwyn slept on an air mattress between the bedroom and the living room. The next day, they all went to the Berlin Library for children's story time and arts and crafts. They came home and had lunch. Caitlyn spent the afternoon playing with the girls and not speaking to Dustin. Dustin tried to ask Caitlyn what her plan was when she was leaving, but Caitlyn would not answer him. Dustin continued to ask, and Caitlyn continued to ignore her all afternoon. Caitlyn played with Elwyn and Valen in Elwyn's bedroom, and every so often, Dustin would go to the doorway of the room and ask Caitlyn when and how she was leaving. Caitlyn did not respond. At one point, she picked up her phone and started using it. Dustin didn't know if Caitlyn was messaging someone. Her silence was telling. Dustin was suspicious. Caitlyn's behavior concerned him. Something was off. Eventually, once it started to get dark, Dustin told Caitlyn that since she wasn't responding, he was going to drive her all the way back to Hampton, and he told Caitlyn it was time to leave. Dustin was stressed because it was a long drive, and by the time he dropped Caitlyn off in Hampton and then drove all the way back to Berlin with the girls would have been up all night. Caitlyn sat down on the couch. Dustin put Valen in a car seat and sat on the hallway floor. He went back into the living room and saw Caitlyn go over and pick up Elwyn, return to the couch, and sat Elwyn on her lap. Elwyn straddled Caitlyn's knee. Dustin told Caitlyn, "Come on, we're leaving," and tried to take Elwyn to get her ready to go. Caitlyn tugged Elwyn tightly and pulled her back, wrapping her arms around Dustin's daughter in a bear hug. Dustin let go and asked Caitlyn to let go of Elwyn, and Caitlyn said no. Dustin kept asking Caitlyn to let go of Elwyn and get ready to leave. Caitlyn started demanding Dustin pay child support, give her $2,000 per month. Caitlyn told Dustin she was going to take Elwyn and Valen back to Minnesota and Dustin would never see them again. Caitlyn again threatened Dustin that she would call the cops and tell them Dustin had taken Elwyn without permission. Caitlyn was still holding on to Elwyn, her arms wrapped tightly around Elwyn, restraining her. Caitlyn told Dustin again that he would never see his kids. Dustin felt like Caitlyn was holding Elwyn hostage. He was seeing his daughter held hostage in front of his eyes. He kept begging Caitlyn to let go of Elwyn and to just get ready to leave. Caitlyn refused and kept saying she was taking the kids and he would never see them again. At this point, Valen was crying. Elwyn was upset and crying, The situation was overwhelming. Dustin tried again to free Elowen, but Caitlyn yanked her away again. Dustin didn't want to force anything, so he just let Elowen go. He tried again to persuade Caitlyn to let go of Elowen, and she refused. She continued to threaten Dustin. Dustin didn't know who Caitlyn had been messaging on her phone, whether there was someone outside waiting. He was suspicious. He was concerned. He was fearful. Dustin could see his gun on the desk in the living room in close proximity to Caitlyn. Dustin knew that Caitlyn knew how to use the gun. He himself taught her how to handle and shoot a gun. He couldn't take his eyes off Caitlyn and Elowen while Caitlyn was holding Elowen hostage right next to a firearm. Dustin tried one more time to take Elowen. He tried to hold one of Caitlyn's wrists while wrapping his arm behind Elowen so that he could free Elowen from Caitlyn's bear hug. Caitlyn did not let go and instead got more aggressive. She braced her foot against the living room table and pulled back hard. Elowen screamed, a piercing cry like she was in pain. Immediately, everything felt extremely dire to Dustin, like Elowen was in immediate danger. Hearing Elowen scream was like a tick. The only thing he was thinking was that he had to save Elowen.
She doesn't
In an
need to.
autonomous motion, like he had been trained by the military, he grabbed his gun. He had no thoughts in his head other than he needed to save Elowen.
Let me, as one who has been trained by the military, be the first to say bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what you are trained to do when you're struggling over your kid. If you really want to free her, punch her really hard in the face.
Right?
That would be my option number one if I thought she was hurting my child. Instead of trying to grab a pew, I'll just punch her straight in the face because I'm pretty sure this former Marine could inflict enough hurt on her that she would leave the kid. Then you can grab the weapon after and get the kids out of there to safety.
Mm-hmm.
He acted instinctually, automatically, and reflexively. In less than 3 seconds, he grabbed the gun, pulled Elowen out of the way, and eliminated the threat, shooting Caitlyn in the head.
Again, he couldn't pull the kid out of the way. He had to get the gun. Then he could pull the kid out of the way and blast her. If the kid's out of the way, push the mother away, take the kids, get out of the house, call 911. I have a hard time seeing if she is just tussling with him over the kid, that this needs to go to this escalation. Yeah, but again, you don't need the remote hole punchers.
Elowen was safe in Dustin's arms. He is a Marine. He acts like a Marine. He did what a Marine is trained to do. Dustin saved Elowen. Dustin took the girls and left the apartment in his Subaru. He needed to make sure the girls were okay and to get out of that apartment. He didn't want Elowen to see anything. After driving south for about 2 hours, he stopped for gas in Concord. He called his mom and told her he shot Caitlyn. He asked for his dad to call the police. He also sent them a video of the girls in the car at that moment to show them the girls were safe. He said he was going to spend a few more hours with the girls before he turned himself in. And that's what he did. He spent a few more hours driving with, talking with the girls, making sure they were okay, making sure they knew he loved them, before turning around and driving back to New Hampshire. He planned to get breakfast with the girls before he turned himself in, but the police located him before he was able to do so. And you will see Dustin's arrest on video. You will see how he complied with the police commands, how he warned the police there were kids in the car, how he warned them there was a gun in the driver's side door, and he then gave a lengthy interview to the police. The state will probably show you Dustin's interview and what he told them after his arrest. This is a case about broken promises, secret plans, and a father's unyielding love. It's about a Marine
Lord.
reacting to a threat toward
Stop
his
it.
beloved
The
daughter.
Marine.
A horrific
Yeah.
tragedy, but not a criminal offense. Dustin is not guilty.
Well, if he punches her and the police arrives and he tells this story, he might lose custody. If he shoots her in the face, he will most likely go to prison and never see his kids. So again, he chose the wrong option if he wants to protect time with his kids.
Yeah. And also, they keep going on about this plan she had. Was it clear that he knew of the plan before the altercation?
No,
'Cause it
because she
sounds
said
like he did it.
it said that they were sleeping in the house, and then he asked, "What are you thinking about?" And she wouldn't tell him. So he had
Yeah,
no prior
so
knowledge of this plan to take the kids, other than when she said it at the house, which leaves me to believe that could enrage him. I'm not fully sold on this one.
no.
At the end of the evidence, the judge will instruct you on the law, and he may explain to you that what the law allows when defending others. He may instruct you that a person is justified in using deadly force against another when he reasonably believes that such person is committing or about to commit a kidnapping, is likely to use any unlawful force against a person present while committing or attempting to commit a burglary, or is likely to use any unlawful force in the commission of a felony against the actor within his own dwelling or home. When he shot Caitlyn, Dustin reasonably believed that Caitlyn was about to kidnap Elowen and that Caitlyn was using unlawful force to commit a crime. She was holding Elowen hostage in front of him, threatening that she would take his kids to Minnesota and he would never see them again. Caitlyn would rather hurt Elowen than let her go. And when Caitlyn hurt Elowen, Dustin acted to save her. Dustin's entire life purpose was to be a good father for Elowen and Balin, and he did what he believed was necessary to protect Elowen. The judge may instruct you. You cannot convict Dustin unless the state proves to you not only that Dustin killed Caitlyn, but that he did so without justification. You must find Dustin not guilty unless you are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Dustin did not act to defend his daughter and prevent a kidnapping. The state will not meet its burden. Dustin was justified under the law. He acted to protect his daughter. After hearing all the evidence, we are confident you will find him not guilty.
Okay, thank you. All right, members of the jury, as I said, we typically take a mid-morning break and a lunch break and a mid-afternoon break before we start with the first witness. I think it's appropriate right now to take a mid-morning break. I'm going to instruct you on several matters right now before we take our first break. First of all, as you heard me say before, you are not allowed to discuss any aspect of the case or any aspect of the evidence.
Well, I found my booster after someone told me, "Hey, can you put the booster on?" So, but the court audio is very low. He is, as everyone, innocent until proven guilty. But we will also, as we are like the jury, watching these opening statements. And right now, I didn't think the state had a good opening statement. Thought he was boring as crap. But as a military man myself, who spent quite a few years wearing the Queen's green, blue, whatever color I had when I was in there, in the different services, I find it such a creepy thing. This guy acted because this is the way he was trained.
Yeah.
No, he was also trained to protect everyone. and not draw his weapon as the first solution to a conflict.
Yeah, it didn't set well with me either. Like, I don't know. I just, like, her going on about the Marine stuff. Like, he is a Marine. He was trained to protect his child. Like, but I didn't really hear so much. I mean, I would be curious to see if the child had injuries.
No,
of
but
some
the
sort,
kids
but-
made it sound like it was getting hurt.
Well,
Again.
yeah, I mean, they were fighting.
Yeah, again, you can punch her really, really hard in the face. He had time enough to grab the kid, get that free from grab the pistol, get the kid from her, and then pew her. For me, that's a problem because the second he has the kid in his arms and she's not actively attacking them, his defense of others goes away. Because if she's just screaming and hysterical, he can back off. He now has a force multiplier. And he can say, stay away, stay away, stay away. And he has the kid in the arms. He takes the other kid and says, get out, get into the car, stay away. In the car, he drives away, calls 911 and says, we had a fight. She was hurting my baby. I had to pull a pew on her. Yeah, you might have to go to family court. But you will go to the big court after you decide to give her a 50-cent piercing in the forehead.
Yeah, and they
I just
didn't
need
even
to-
have a order yet for custody and things like that. Like, then nobody was doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Actually.
And we have 180 votes on the judge's hair. 50% believes it's his hair, 50% believes it's a hairpiece or a
It's
head
50.
version. It's 180 votes, 50-50.
That's funny.
Couldn't grab the kids with two hands, but could with his non-dominant hand, assuming pew and dominant hand. Yeah, that's the story we are told. How old was the baby? Didn't she say 1 year old? And no, she didn't have. They were fighting. They were. She was keeping the baby in a bear hug, and then they were tussling about the baby, and the baby made a sound that made him think that she was hurt. So he grabbed the weapon on the table, took the baby from the mother, and then shot the mother in the forehead. That's the story they told.
Mm-hmm. I'll still stay open-minded, but so far
Always.
those details are not looking good, in my opinion.
She said he said he was in proximity. Yeah, but she wasn't holding it. And all of this will be part of what the jury will hear, unless she was reaching for it.
Well, yeah, like that's the kind of things I need to know. Like just to say, oh, well, it was right there and she was close by. Was she
Yeah.
even attempting to go for it?
No,
that's
because she was bear hugging the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the 4-year-old. 4-year-old.
Oh yeah, the 4-year-old. The baby was in the car, I believe.
Well, then the second you have the 4-year-old and you have the force multiplier, you just go out into the car with the 1-year-old and drive off. That's yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to be like, let go. You don't have
Yeah,
to
and-
immediately. I don't know.
Therapist, and I think he said the force multiplier was on the desk right next to her. Wasn't that what they said?
Yeah.
I would believe so. Instead of telling a story about how the kid cried out and that made him grab a weapon and take the kid and pew her in the face, I would think that when he took the kid away, she lunged for the weapon and he grabbed it first and had to do it. That would be a better story to tell. Instead of saying, I grabbed it, I pointed it at her, I took the kid, and then I pewed her. And again, who is there to tell an opposite story if you said it that way? Said she was holding the kid and going for the weapon. I got it first, and grabbed the kid as it was about to fall, and then I did it. That was pure instinct. That to me would have been pure instinct. But this one, and 3 seconds, in only 3 seconds.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 3 seconds is a long time.
And just threatening to take your children, and it's like, okay, that happens every day. There's always a parent threatening to take the kids and you'll never see them again.
If the mother was a threat or neglectful to her children, we haven't heard any word about it in the opening statement, so I don't think you'll hear any evidence about it in the trial. Wouldn't you open with that? This mom was constantly hurting her kids. He was afraid that if she took them away, they wouldn't get fed, they wouldn't get bathed, she wouldn't take care of their basic rights. That's why he was fighting so hard against her taking the kids. Didn't hear any of that. You just heard she wanted to take the kids away. They got into an argument, and he wanted to have the 4-year-old, and she hugged the kid, and they got into a fight over this kid. Again, when she's holding the kid and he's trying to grab it, take the firearm, take your phone, call 911 and say, you have to come take her away because this and that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to escalate. I think, yeah. I think it's a very, very I think it's very, very over the top to go to this. Yeah, they could have told a story about how she was kicking and screaming and trying to go for a weapon, and in the fight for the weapon, he unalived her. That would have been a better story. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, sounds like they were both very immature.
Yeah. Well, Dave, let's see. We have been in cases before that was very open and shut, and then new evidence came in the end anyway. So let's see.
Yeah.
And again, even if she was playing games or going behind his back trying to get custody, it happens in almost every custody battle. There will be shenanigans, but there's a very, very long way from someone playing a little dirty to catching a 50-cent piercing to the face.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that it needed to go that far
Yeah.
far, but we'll see.
She lived in Seabrook, New Hampshire. If you're in the neighborhood, fish Eastman's Fleet for a great time. I don't know what that means. Hey, Money G. No, they didn't say how long the trial is supposed to last. Again, if I say it's going to be a short trial, we'll be here till Christmas. If I say it's going to be a long trial, the audio will glitch out in 2 minutes, and the jury will be sent home, and we'll be here till Christmas.
I mean, hopefully it's not too long. They don't need to call every police officer that ever drove by their house at the moment of the crime.
Well, they'll have to have crime scene investigators. They have the first responding officer, the officer who arrested him at the diner, the Emmy, her aunt or whoever it was she made the plans with. Probably some character witnesses from him, and he needs to take this to stand in this case. He can't get away from.
They have a gun guy too. They have and a phone person to show like phone data. So
yeah.
It'll be separate, but yeah, he'll more than likely have to speak his.
And again, him running instead of just instantly calling 911 is also one of those. It'll just sit bad with the jury, I believe. Wasn't she sitting on the couch when he gave her the face piercing? It would be hard to say she went for it. That's how I understood it, but that's the state claiming that, and it's always what side you get it from. Jimmy, it's cold in my house today. My feet are freezing. When they come back, I need to go and find some socks, and I need to go and check if I have I have remote thermostats on my radiators. I have to check that they are not run out of batteries. I'll do that when we come back when the jury comes back. I'm trying to English, Jimmy. It's hard today.
Sounds like it.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
No, you're fine. It's
Yeah, it'll
Monday.
be fine. Yeah, it's Monday.
Monday. Oh, goodness.
Trajectory will show if she was standing, sitting. Yeah, that'll be one of the things. That was the one I never got over in the. Oh, I was just cleaning my weapons case, because she clearly he had a straight through and through. That's not something you do when you're just sitting there cradling your, and then pew, it accidentally goes off. We have had no evidence of it, and I haven't done any deep dives. I believe that's 20 to life, 25 to life. No, I don't want New York. I want New Hampshire. Second degree, punishable by imprisonment for life or for such term as the court may order, is what it says in the text. And they don't have the DP. They got rid of that in 2019. Let's see if I can open this and see what it is. Nope, it doesn't say. It doesn't say sentencing lengths. Borrow a blanket from Jamie. She has a ton of blankets.
I do. I have this big, comfy robe right now that's like a snuggie.
Should get a whoopee like Valhalla.
A what?
A whoopee.
What is a whoopee?
It's a kind of like a filtered blanket that you'll use in the military to wrap around you, as you'll sleep in it, or you'll wear it when you're cold, or you'll just you'll use it for everything. It's one of those military blankets that's you'll if you know anyone who's been in the military, ask them if they had a whoopee.
So it's like
No, not a whoopee cushion, but a whoopee. Send me the witness list in Discord. Oh, am I gonna be mad? No. This is absolutely insane. They may call or may not. Trooper Matria Anderson, Kevin Barone, Tyler Brennan, Michael Caltalfamo, Troy Couliard, William Dieglet, Sean Eaton, Christopher Elphick, intelligence analyst Tracy Flaherty, Brian Griffin, Tamara Hester, Edward Horton, Amanda Johnson, Public Relations and Community Outreach, Amber Legis, Kelly Lapointe, Adam Little, Sergeant Mallory Littman, Trooper David Lyon, Michael McLaughlin, Jeffrey Miller, Evan Nadeau, Nicholas Pennell, Jacob Plord, Nicholas Post, Kevin Pratt, Hawley Ray, oh, that's a wrestler, Brian Ross, Justin Rowe, Sean Smarts, Eric Torrance, Berlin Police Department, Jared Beal, Eric Benjamin, Christopher Bowman, Holly Doob, Dennis Gale, Donald Gendron, Wade Goulet, Bradley Panto, Joseph Priest, Jason Silva, Keene Police Department, Joel Chitster, Mark Cotton, Andrew Lipnicott, Carl Macy, Jennifer Truman, Joel Valles, Coos County Department of Correction, Corrections Officer Zachary Benoit, Brian Cross, Jason Rilla, other law enforcement agencies, Chet Erickson, Anuka County Sheriff, Warren Green, Coos County Sheriff, Joshua White, Coos County Sheriff, expert witness, Jill Theriot, Mitchell Weinberg, civilian witnesses, Carolyn Campbell, Mike Duren, Deborah Duren, Elowyn Duren, Kate Macy, James McLaughlin, investigator, Chester County Attorney's Office, Natalie Robertson, Sally Sankowski. These are the ones on the state witness list. It doesn't mean that they will be called. They can take a lot of these away, hopefully.
Thank goodness.
Because you don't need to call all of these. This is the defendant's witness list. Roger Pittman, MD, Arthur Boutin, Brenda Plamondon, Shannon Spurgeon, and Catherine Gann are the ones that the defense has listed. So let's hope that 75% of it will go away, because it'll just be, yeah, I was at the arrest. Yeah, he seemed calm. Yeah, the kids seemed fine. Yeah, I was at the arrest. He seemed calm. The kids seemed fine. I didn't see any Marines to testify that you must unalive your wife in a family battle. Yeah, I don't think they're going to call the 4-year-old because Elowyn, that would be the daughter. I don't know if he's currently in jail. I believe so. The kid would be, how old did they say? This is from 24, and she was 4 years old. So she'll be 5-6 years old now.
Yeah.
So you can't use her to testify, but she has to be there.
All right, Holy County Spirit Court is now in session.
Oh, I'll go and get some socks.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Council approach on scheduling?
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and before we reconvene the jury, just a few quick comments about the layout of the courtroom. For purposes of the record, I did not want to take the time to do that first thing this morning. I wanted to get started. But just to confirm, there is a large television monitor that is aimed at roughly a 45-degree angle towards the jury box, which has been provided by the state. There's also a smaller monitor which is directed towards the gallery. There's also a monitor on defense counsel table and also a monitor at the judge's bench up here. So a total of 4 monitors that have been outlaid around the courtroom. I've indicated to defense counsel that if at any point that their monitor ceases to work, to let me know immediately, and we will adjust as necessary with respect to that matter. And I will try to keep my eye out open for it, but in case anything does change, in case the layout does change during the course of the trial, please let me know, just so that I can adequately reflect for purposes of the record the layout of the courtroom. Any comments in response to my comments, counsel?
No, if we just have 1 second to iron out.
Certainly.
This tech issue.
Got it. It's on your
It's just like a desktop.
keyboard's different than things like Windows.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Are we already boomering the technique?
No, I don't know what they're doing.
Good night, Empire.
I'll get one out of you. No, no, I'm good.
Right, Empire.
Thank you. I'm good. Ralph, I'm good.
Try 9, or throw it on 9.
It changed. Got it?
Iris thinks Vicks Vapor Rub keeps ghosts away.
She sure does.
All set.
All set? Okay.
And Fabuloso, a Jesus candle, some Vicks Vapor Rub. There she is.
Fabuloso.
is good stuff, though. I like that.
Come on.
All rise for the honorable jury. Court County Superior Court is again in session. The Honorable Dustin Duren presiding.
Thought the jury was coming back before, and then I went and put some socks on, and then nothing happened.
No, they were just talking about they have monitors here,
Okay,
here, and
please
here.
proceed. Your Honor, the state calls Detective Sergeant Eric Benjamin.
What?
Would you like me to swear the witness? Please. Sir, could you raise your hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you. Sir, could you please introduce yourself and spell your last name for the jury?
Absolutely. My name is Eric Benjamin, EricBenjamin.
And sir, where do you work?
I work for the Berlin Police Department.
How long have you worked there?
I've worked there about 10 years now.
What is your current rank with the Berlin PD?
I'm a detective sergeant.
Stop smacking your
In
lip.
addition to your regular duties as a detective sergeant, are you also a member of something called the Emergency Response Team?
I am.
Could you please tell the jury, what is the Emergency Response Team?
The Emergency Response Team is a group of officers who respond to high-risk situations which require additional training, equipment, and tactics to handle the situation appropriately.
And Detective Sergeant, would it be fair to say the Emergency Response Team that you're part of handles incidents like the one you described in the Berlin area and surrounding areas up kind of in the northern part of the state?
Yes,
Do you have any role within the Emergency Response Team?
I do.
What is that?
I am the team leader.
Detective Sergeant, on February 29th of 2024,
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Wakey wake.
What?
Wakey wake.
What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
It was going just fine. What are you?
I didn't do anything. I was sitting here and just sitting. And then it just went away. Let's see if another.
Roles. We were wearing body.
Come on.
That was from Sergeant Dennis Gale.
do you have any role within the Emergency Response Team?
I do.
What is that?
I am the team leader.
Team leader.
Detective Sergeant, on February 29th, 2024, were you on duty as a police officer that day?
I was not.
Nevertheless, did you receive some information related to an activation of the Emergency Response Team that day?
I did.
At what time?
I received the first call around 11 p.m.
Is that standard that even if you're not on shift as a police officer that you can call for emergency response team issues?
Yes,
Who was that phone call from?
that was from Sergeant Dennis Gale.
And what information did you receive?
The initial information I received was that there was a situation at a residence in Berlin in which the information known at that time was there was a male that had contacted his father stating that he had just killed his girlfriend.
Did that information include anything about children?
It did. There were 2 children that were allegedly with the male at the time, and their whereabouts were unknown.
As a result of receiving that information, what did you do?
Our team was activated as part of my role as the team leader. I spoke directly with our commander of the team, and we activated to the Berlin Police Department, where we set up an an immediate action team.
When you got to the Berlin PD and set up an action team, what did you do?
We responded to a separate location near the residence where we met other personnel from the team.
When you did that, were you dressed in your normal police uniform?
I was not.
What were you wearing?
Due to the nature of the call and as well as the emergency response team's roles, we were wearing body armor, helmets, rifles, the appropriate response for that type of call.
Is that standard for emergency response team operation?
It is.
Did you, so you mentioned that you went to a location near the apartment that was involved, is that right?
Correct.
How did you get there?
We assembled in the Bearcat.
Just generally, can you tell Jerry, what is a Bearcat?
The Bearcat is a piece of armored vehicle that we respond with our team in.
So what particular location are we focused on? What is called?
The residence we were focused on was 1063 Main Street in Berlin.
And did you get the name of the male involved who you mentioned that had called his father?
I did.
What was the name you got?
Dustin Duren.
How many members did you gather for your team?
Initially, there were 4 of us and a medic.
So you mentioned you went to the area nearby 1063 Main Street in Berlin.
Yes.
Could you describe that area of Berlin where 1063 Main Street is?
It's right along Main Street. It's a residential area, multiple houses, a couple businesses near there, as well as a community park.
It's time I move to introduce State's Exhibits 1, 2, 3A, 3B, 3C by agreement. The ID can restrict animal.
Okay.
The ID may be stricter than each shall be considered full of zoos. Thank you, Sergeant. Can we see the screen over there?
Yes.
You need to get up and move this. Okay. So we're talking about 1063 Main Street. What do you see here?
Oh, I'm not
Yes,
just,
So this is State's Exhibit 1. Please tell us what you see there.
That's an overview of the city.
And that's the city of Berlin, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
See down in the lower right corner, you see a marking for 1063?
I do.
And is that an accurate representation of where 1063 Main Street is?
Yes.
And then you see some other markings there for the City Hall and the library. Are those accurate as well?
Yes.
Are those generally in the downtown area in the center of the photo?
Yes.
And if you want to approach the screen, I believe you can do that. And then up in the left, you see a red circle with a white cane. Can you point that out to the chart?
Yes, right here.
Yeah. What is at that location?
That's a Circle K gas station.
And is there a bus stop at the Circle K gas station?
Yes, there is.
And what sort of buses service that bus station?
That's the Concord Railways.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll keep you up here so you turn up and down. We're showing you State's Exhibit 2. What is this?
That's a closer view near 1063 Main Street.
So that's Main Street in Berlin, and then that's 1063 where the red box is coming up.
Correct.
How many lanes of travel from Main Street?
2.
And is that, you just start the park on the other side, is that where you can see the bottom of this photo?
Yes, the Heritage Park.
That last one. What do you see there?
That's 1063 Main Street where we responded.
So we'll do all of this while we have you up here. Is 1063 Main Street multifamily home?
It is.
Yes. Multiple apartments within that one structure?
Yes.
Is there a garage?
Yes.
Can you see any of it in this photo?
Yes, you got right up here.
And is there a driveway?
Yes.
What side of the house is the driveway on?
The left side.
So go back here. You point out which side of the house the driveway is on?
Yes, right here, the left side.
Now back on Exhibit 3, is that the garage you can see down at the other end of that driveway on the left side?
Yes.
This is State's Exhibit 3B. Is this showing the driveway in that garage?
Yes, it is.
So how many bays in that garage?
3.
It's a separate structure from the house, right?
Correct.
Does the garage have an attic?
It does.
Where's the door in the garage?
All the way to the right side, you can see it open. This photo.
Last one, State's Exhibit 3C. What are we looking at here?
That's the rear of 1063 Main Street. Main entrance point.
So that white door in the middle there, is that the main entrance point from the parking lot?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you. You can go to stand. Detective, you mentioned that you received a phone call, went to Berlin PD, and then staged at a location near 1063 Main Street. Did you eventually go to 1063 Main Street?
Yes, I did.
And did you go there in that Bearcat that you described?
We did.
When you got there, where did you park?
We parked right in that rear parking space right in front of the 3-bay garage.
What did you do at that point after you arrived?
So my role as a team leader is to convey basically what's going on the ground to the commander who makes the decisions as far as what we do next. At that point, we weren't sure whether or not Mr. Duren's vehicle was still in one of those 3-bay garages. If they may be inside a residence, we didn't really know. At that point, upon arrival, we decided to clear the 3-day garage as there was a dormer up above that also posed a risk to our officers outside on the perimeter as well. So we made the decision to clear that garage first.
Before we talk about the garage, was there snow on the ground at that point?
There was.
And
How
did you
much
see any
snow?
Tracks.
What if
in
any?
snow when you were at?
There were tracks going to the one garage bay, in
Did you
particular
check
more
a
than
cat?
others.
Detective Sergeant, when you say you cleared the garage, what do you mean?
We entered into the garage to make sure that there was nobody inside.
And we were also looking for the vehicle.
Yes,
Remember what kind of vehicle you were looking for?
I believe it was a small sedan.
Did you clear the garage?
We did.
Did you find anyone or anything in there?
No,
Was the defendant's vehicle, or excuse me, was the vehicle you were looking for in there?
no, it's not.
What did you do next after clearing the garage?
Based on the circumstances, we decided to make entry into the residence.
How did you go into the residence?
We went in through that white door you see on the rear of the building.
Was that door locked?
That was not locked.
When you got in through that door, what did you encounter?
There was a set of stairs that we later found to reach the other apartments in that building, as well as a door, which we later found reached the basement, which is a common area. And then there was another door straight ahead as we entered into this door here. And that was the main entrance pointing to Mr. Duren's apartment.
Is that door into the apartment locked?
Yes, it was.
How were you able to open it?
We utilized a ram to get through that door.
So if you could paint a picture, how many officers were with you at this time when you're entering into this apartment?
We had 4 of us on the immediate action team.
Where were you relative to those other 3?
So as a team leader, usually in the back, we call the stacks, the back of the group. So that's where I was. I was number 4 in that group.
After that door was breached, did you go into that ground floor apartment?
Yes,
What did you see when you got in?
the apartment was completely black. So it took us a moment to get through the initial entryway until we later just briefly found the light switches that we turned on while we were in there.
So the door was locked and the lights were off and you went in. What did you and your teammates do?
We began clearing. There were initial rooms to the left and right, which we cleared to make sure there was nobody inside. And then we continued going straight into what we later find to be like kitchen area.
And can you tell us what you saw when you got to the kitchen area?
So the kitchen area opened up into 2 rooms, one to the left, one to the right. And at that point, we had multiple officers begin to go left and right from that kitchen area.
What happened next?
Deputy Green was the first person in front of me to the right. I was holding the room to the left with Sergeant Gale. We were able to start to make entry into the right room off the kitchen. And at that point, Deputy Green announced that there was a female victim on the couch with an apparent gunshot wound to the head.
What room was Deputy Green in?
That would be the living room.
Well, after hearing that from him, that he found a female with a gunshot wound to the head, what did you do?
We continued clearing the rest of the apartment to make sure that Mr. Duren and the children were not in there.
Did you find anyone else in the apartment?
No,
Did you go to the living room?
I did.
Can you tell us what you saw?
Again, we did an initial search of the apartment. I went to the female. I checked her to make sure she was in fact deceased. And while I was there, I noted several things. Her body was very cold. The appearance of her skin indicated to me, based on training and experience, that she had been there a while. I also noted a single shell casing to the right of the couch in the living room.
You mentioned an apparent gunshot wound. Where did you see that apparent gunshot?
The gunshot was to the side of her head.
Where was that female sitting, or position, I should say?
As I was facing the couch from the front, she was all the way to the right side.
So was she sitting or lying down?
She was kind of slumped over.
Where were her feet?
They were positioned in front of her.
Were any of her feet on top of the table?
I don't believe so.
After observing, you mentioned observing a shell casing. Where did you see that?
I was directly to the right of the couch, right on the floor.
After seeing that female there and that shell casing, what did you do?
So based on the type of scene that we knew we had at that point, it was our job to maintain custody of the scene, to maintain the integrity of the investigation that we knew was forthcoming. So I made sure that there was an officer that stayed with the female victim while the rest of our team had to continue on to make sure that the other residents, if any, in the apartment were safe and secure, and that there wasn't a possibility Mr. Duren was anywhere else within that building.
What was the purpose of stationing an officer in that living room?
These type of investigations and require us to maintain the integrity. And that means that nobody touches the body, nobody moves anything from the scene, and everyone's responsible for their own actions. So we post an officer with the body to make sure that all those are accounted for, all those things happen.
Other than checking for a pulse, did you or any other officers with you touch that body?
No,
Did you or any of those officers touch that shell case?
no.
Did you and the other officers then proceed to the rest of the building to clear it?
We did.
And what did you find as you did that?
There were multiple apartments within that structure that were empty. And we did note one resident on the top floor that we evacuated from the building.
Anyone in the second floor apartment?
No, I don't believe so.
Did you check the basement for people as well?
Yes,
Did you find anyone in the basement?
no.
Once that whole building was searched, what happened next?
I made sure I was the last one out, and I taped over the entry exit of that building. Notified dispatch that I was the last one out, and I made sure I posted officers at locations around the residence that would maintain the custody of that building to make sure that nobody went in or out. And we would start a scene log at that point to make sure that anyone that did arrive on scene was logging in.
Was there police tape put around the building as well?
There was.
Okay, Sergeant, you mentioned that the door into the apartment was locked. Can you tell us, is that locked with the knob or with the deadbolt?
I'm sorry, the first entry door or the door of the apartment?
Door to the apartment,
Yes, that had a deadbolt on it.
the deadbolt was locked.
Yes.
What further questions?
Morning, Sergeant.
Morning.
One question. The Berlin Police Department's phone number 603-752-3131.
Yes.
And if you were to Google that, that number would pop up.
I think so.
No more questions. Thank you.
I think this is the first case ever where a lawyer has asked, what's the phone number for the police department?
Yeah. I was like, okay. Take
Oh,
note of
okay.
that. I don't know what she's gonna pop up later with that.
Nothing further.
Okay, and Detective Sergeant Benjamin, step down.
Thank you.
Let's hope we don't need
Please step
every
down.
officer who was at the scene.
Okay.
But a
Thank you.
pew to the side of the head,
Yeah. I was
That was a
interested
little-
in that.
yeah. And sadly, we can't see anything, so we don't know when the Emmy is going to come testify where to the side it was.
Mhm.
So,
It seems like she was found in a sitting position on the couch still.
yeah, slumped over on the couch, but that could also be if she fell backwards.
That's true.
So, what's going on? Can we move it?
I know. Chip, chop, chip.
Turn around this time, date would call work during.
Is this his dad?
Yeah, it sounds like it. I think he
Yeah.
said his dad is, or they said his dad.
No, that's
Karen, if you could remain standing and please
Oh,
raise your right
really?
hand. Do you swear to tell the truth of your pains and
does
penalties?
he look old enough to be his dad?
I do.
Thank you, you
Does
can
it?
see it.
So maybe not.
Not that much, Wiki. Nothing really happened so far. He's a manlet.
He's a
He's
little
probably lefty size. Like 5'1", 5'2".
Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Mark Philip Duren,
Mr. Duren, where do you currently live?
in Pine City, Minnesota.
And for how long have you resided there?
About 4 years now.
How long have you
Revisit
lived in Minnesota?
Well, off and on most of my life.
What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
And what did you do prior to retiring?
I was a deputy sheriff with Anoka County in Minnesota.
Yanoka County Sheriff's Department.
Yes,
Are you married?
yes.
To whom are you married?
Deborah Duren,
And how many children do you have together?
we have 2 together.
Okay, and you have one additional child?
I do.
Do you know the defendant seated to my right, or sorry, my right at trial table?
Certainly do.
Who is that?
It's my son, Dustin Duren.
In
Yes,
terms of your
you look
children,
really
is Dustin
young.
your oldest child, your middle child?
Middle child.
In February of 2024, where was Mr. Duren, the defendant, living?
In Berlin, New Hampshire.
Is it fair to say that, or I'm sorry, do you know how long he'd been living in Berlin, New Hampshire?
Approximately a month.
He'd moved there, in fact, in January of 2024.
Yes,
And prior to his moving to New Hampshire to live in Berlin, New Hampshire, did he reside with you in Minnesota?
he did.
Had you, through the course of having Mr. Duren live with you and being your son, met his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, Caitlyn Naffziger?
Yes,
And this may sound like a silly question, but you have in fact met his children, is that correct?
very much. Yes.
Can you please identify the 2 children that Mr. Duren had with Ms. Naffziger?
Elwyn and Valen,
In February of 2024, how old was Alwyn
4,
and how old was Balin?
1.
Is it true that at this time you are currently sharing custody of Alwyn and Balin with Ms. Naffziger's family?
Yes,
Mr. Duren, I'm going to show you what is marked for evidence for identification as State's Exhibit 4 with respect to this case. That's going to take a look at this. Do you recognize what you're looking at?
yes.
What is it?
Caitlyn and Elwyn,
This is fairly inaccurately show both of them in this image.
yes.
Right at this time, the state requests the state's 4 be admitted into evidence. Objection.
The ID may be stricken and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
Now, Mr. Duren, in February of 2024, specifically on February 29th of 2024,
I think it's Balin, like Balin the Builder in Game of Thrones.
did you make a call to the Berlin Police Department?
I did.
Can you explain to us why?
Dustin had called my wife, and she had informed me.
Based on a conversation you had with your wife, you called the Berlin Police Department?
Yes,
What did you tell the Berlin Police Department?
that I'd received information that Caitlyn had been shot.
Did you tell the Berlin Police Department why Caitlyn had been shot?
Yes,
Objection with the approach.
This is hearsay. Come on. Oh, Brandon the Builder. Balin Greyjoy. Oh, haven't read Game of Thrones in a long time. I only watched 1 season of that House of Dragons series. It turned really bad in the end, I thought. Kind of like Game of Thrones did the last 2 seasons. So that's too bad. I like the books. It's a little boring. Come on. This is the 3rd sidebar already. It's not hearsay if the defendant's own statements, even when it comes from a third party, because he didn't get it from the defendant, he got it from his wife who talked to the defendant. We don't know. Again, I have no extra knowledge about. We're watching the case like a juror. We don't know anything other than the helicopter perspective, just about what the case is about. Because I don't know if he's on bail. I don't know if anyone has been subpoenaed to be there. I don't know anything like that. That's because the jury will most likely not know it. So it shouldn't influence our court watching either. It's not that important why he's there. Feel sorry that I'll have to testify against my son. In Denmark, you can actually, the right to not testify will extend to your parents.
Yeah,
No
I
bail
assume
for him.
he was subpoenaed to testify.
Sorry?
I said I assume that they just subpoenaed him because obviously he called his dad and his mom.
Yeah. It's probably how it goes. It's
Yeah, more than likely. But like you said, it doesn't make any difference when you're deciding.
my daughter just sent me a picture of baby Baker. They were having takeaway food. There's more on the floor than there's on. I think that it is in his stomach.
What kind is it?
Some Chinese takeaway. We call them China box. It's where you get rice and then some noodles or some meat or something on top of it. That's a China box. I'm not happy that Cindy Lou Woohoot is saying, "Oh shit" in my chat. What is this?
Oh shit. What is she saying?
Oh shit. That's
Said,
Danish.
oh Lord.
Yeah, that's Danish for shit.
It is? Oh.
Jamie, you should watch the show when I have told you multiple times that this is how you spell shit in Danish.
I had no idea.
Sue calls them Oriental boxes.
She does.
Okay, members of the jury, I'm going to allow Mr. Duren's the answer to the state's question. I'm instructing you not to consider it for purposes of the truth of the matter with respect to what is contained in the statement, but instead, you can consider it only for the specific reason of what was said to the Berlin Police Department at that time, and you shall consider it for no other purpose. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Duren, you indicated that you called the Berlin Police Department because you had received information that your son had shot and killed Miss Naffziger. What did you tell the Berlin Police Department when you called them?
What did I tell them?
What did you tell them?
Exactly that I had received information from my wife that Dustin had shot Caitlyn.
Did that information include why?
No,
You're indicating today that the defendant called your wife's phone, that's Deborah's cell phone?
correct.
What is Deborah's cell phone number?
763-607.
I'm just muting it so we don't have to dox this guy, this girl, woman, lady.
I just called Deb on my phone.
Understand what most of us do. Are you familiar with the cell phone number 763-35? Is that correct to be?
That is my wife's phone number.
Okay, so 763-350-0954 is your wife's cellular phone number.
Correct.
What time of day did that call come to your wife?
I don't recall.
I'll go show.
State.
Were you present at home at the time the call came in?
I was.
Okay, and at what time did the call occur?
I don't recall.
Was it in the daytime or the nighttime?
It was in the evening.
When your wife received a call from your son, where were you?
I was in the living room watching TV.
What were you watching?
I don't recall.
Where was your wife?
She was in the bedroom.
How long was your wife on the phone?
I would estimate 5 to 10 minutes. I wasn't present, so I don't know exactly.
At any point during this conversation where your son called and provided this information, did your wife leave the bedroom and come to the living room?
After the phone call, she came out and informed me.
Following that phone call, did you and your wife receive a video?
Not that I'm aware of.
You didn't report to the Berlin Police Department or to state police that you received a video from your son?
I believe that was after.
So after that phone call ended, did you receive a video?
Yes.
What was that video?
Dustin and the girls in the car.
Where were they? Besides in the car, could you tell where they were?
I could not.
Did it look like you said they were in a vehicle? Did they look like they were inside of a garage, in a parking lot? What was the background?
I don't recall. I just recall the inside of the car and the occupants.
Oh, come on. Every question takes forever.
Following your 911 call or your emergency call to the Berlin Police Department, did you continue communicating with police?
I did.
You made, in fact, several phone calls to the police department, correct?
Correct.
At least 2 that evening,
Yes, ma'am.
and other officers called you,
Yes,
and you shared information with them.
I did.
Did you also share photographs of the defendant with the police?
I did.
Did you provide them with photographs of the 2 children?
Yes.
Mr. Duren, as a sheriff's deputy, were you assigned a service weapon?
Was
Okay.
several.
Several service weapons? When you retired from the sheriff's department, what did you do with those several service weapons?
I gifted one to my son Dustin and another to my son Nicholas.
What kind of gun did you give to Dustin?
It was a Beretta.
Oh, old school.
Beretta 9mm?
Yes.
United States Exhibit 20A, which is marked for identification purposes. You recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
It's a Beretta handgun.
Do you know if that is your service weapon that was a Beretta handgun?
I would not know unless I looked at the serial number.
You know the serial number for that weapon?
Not right offhand, no.
But you would recognize it if you observed it. Is that fair to say?
Not without looking at my records to identify the serial number.
But you gifted a gun just like that to your son Dustin, correct?
I did.
Working on it. Thank you, Mr. Duren. I have no other questions.
This takes forever.
Morning, Mr. Duren.
Good morning.
Mr. Duren, you testified that you were a sheriff in the county sheriff's department in Minnesota
Correct.
for 19 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And, have you, in your role as a sheriff, did you have to testify in court?
Yes, ma'am.
And, you are aware of the importance of telling the truth, correct?
Absolutely.
And to be honest,
Yes.
and to be, as complete and detailed as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were watching TV in your living room, Minnesota, on the night of February 29, 2024, you testified that Deb received a phone call.
Correct.
Did you hear her receive that phone call, or did you find out after she came in?
I found out afterwards she came out of the bedroom hysterical.
But she was hysterical. She came out to talk to you. Prior to her coming out, you had no idea she received a phone call from Dustin.
I knew she was on the phone. I did not know who she was speaking with.
So Deb comes out hysterical, and provides you information. And as a result of that, you called 911, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so when you called 911, you actually got Minnesota dispatcher, correct?
Correct.
And what did you report to them?
That I had received information from my wife that Caitlyn had been shot.
Right, and did they transfer you to dispatch in New Hampshire?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't have to like hang up and call in somewhere, correct?
I don't believe so.
When you were transferred, you spoke to someone that from dispatch and gave them the same information, correct?
I did.
Answered all their questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Provided them information like your son's name, right?
Correct.
Caitlin's name,
Yes.
the kids' names,
Yes.
what Dustin drove for a vehicle,
Yes.
his address.
Yes.
You didn't leave anything out.
No.
You were concerned for your son
Yes. And for Caitlyn.
and for Caitlin and the grandchildren.
Yes.
You didn't speak to Dustin that night though, correct?
I did not.
You were not in Berlin on the night of February 29th, correct?
No.
You didn't see what Caitlin said that night, correct?
No.
You didn't hear what Caitlin said that night,
No.
correct? You didn't see what Caitlin did that night, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Duren, you're a Marine veteran, correct?
Correct.
And what years did you serve?
1977 to 81.
And as a Marine, are you expected to be familiar with firearms?
I am.
As a Marine, are you expected to shoot firearms with precision?
Yes.
Are all Marines expected to be able to deliver well-aimed shots to eliminate the adversary?
Yes, ma'am.
Every Marine is a rifleman, correct?
Correct.
Don't do the Marine must kill route, because one of the things that you learn as a soldier is to show restraint, not just to go in guns blazing. You are not Rambo. I really, it's the same as when people claim just because you served that you have PTSD. I hate these generalizations.
And every Marine, regardless of their specialty, go to infantry training, correct?
That's correct.
They're trained in ground combat, correct?
That's correct.
Everyone in the Marines is expected to be combat ready, correct?
That is correct.
Well, what does combat ready mean?
That at any time they could be called.
But you're not combat ready when you're sitting home on your couch. I hate these civilians trying to use it as an argument. It's really stupid.
Yeah, I don't like this argument at all.
No. So every Marine is a ticking time bomb. And if you just bump shoulders with him in Times Squares, he will kill you because they're always combat ready.
Into a war zone.
And as a Marine, you're trained to be ready for combat and be a combat marksman, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And when you're not in theater, you are just a normal person.
Dustin, a Beretta, M9, correct?
Yes.
And that was your former service weapon.
Yes.
And it became yours upon retirement.
Yes.
Now, are you familiar with the M9?
I am.
Okay, how, was that your regular service weapon that you used?
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
just a stupid one.
Was that the only weapon M9 that you used as a sheriff?
It was the only Beretta. Every few years, we would be issued new firearms.
So the M9, the last firearm, the M9 that you discussed in the last firearm that you had before you retired?
Yes,
The M9 is a pistol, correct?
it is.
A semi-automatic handgun?
Yes.
And what does that mean that it's semi-automatic? Actually, Your Honor.
Basis.
Here, maybe a bridge.
New Hampshire.
Sure.
Oh yeah, let's approach again because this is the fourth or the fifth sidebar, and they take forever.
No.
And it's not like they're coming back. She's asking stupid questions that'll just make the jury dislike him more because
Overruled.
because this he's a Marine so he must kill is such a dumb argument. I hope they don't have any Marines on the stand on
What does
the
it
jury.
mean to be a semi-automatic pistol?
It means that it will fire every time you pull the trigger.
If there's a bullet
and
in it.
The M9 is, it has several safety features, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and actually it was developed for use by the armed forces, correct?
Yes.
And, it has a fail-proof safety system, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Duren, how many grandchildren do you have?
7.
7 grandchildren. And, you testified earlier that Alan and Valen are Augustus' 2 children, correct?
Right.
With Caitlyn, right?
Yes.
And at the time of this incident up in February of 2024, Alan was 4
Yes.
and Valen was 1.
Yes.
And at the time of the incident in February 2024, Dustin, Alan lived in Berlin, New Hampshire, correct?
Correct.
And Valen and Caitlyn had just come out a few days prior from Minnesota, correct?
Sustained.
When, before Dustin and Ellen moved to Berlin, New Hampshire, he lived with you and your wife, correct?
That's correct.
And Ellen and Valen lived with you part-time, correct?
Correct.
The other part of the time they lived with Caitlyn, correct?
That is correct.
And you were aware that Dustin and Caitlyn would exchange the kids for their, or objection, you're saying. Pressure?
Oh. Why must it be this slow? Are Marines not taught restraint? Dumb argument for the defense. Yes, they are. Every soldier is taught restraint. We actually do. I don't know how the Americans do it, but especially if you're deployed, everyone will go through what's called riot control exercises because you need to learn that sometimes you have to fight people instead of just pew-pewing them if they are out making a demonstration in the streets or something like that. And you're taught to stop when because you'll have your shield wall, and you open your shield wall, get someone behind it, make sure they are compliant, and then you'll ship them off and detain them. And you can't just go full Spartacus and just go crazy in that. You have to show restraint. This is what you train for. This is military doesn't. It's just it's that the Rambo thing where everyone who was a Marine
Withdrawn, no ruling.
Oh. Yeah, apparently there was a big breakdown with Amazon.
Oh, Mr. Duren.
I can't do that because I don't have the overlay.
You and your wife and his children, several months, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to observe Dustin's relationships with his children, correct?
Yes.
And specifically with Halloween, you observed how close they were, correct?
Extremely.
Really close. Dustin loved being father, as far as you could see, correct?
It's 6
Very
plus.
much so.
And he cared deeply for Ellen, correct?
Overruled.
Also, and this whole, he cared so deeply for his own child. Like, yeah, he should.
Yeah, it's his
He's
child.
a father. I mean,
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that you are really taught about when you deploy, is the rules of
Based on
engagement.
observations between Dustin and Ellen, he cared deeply for Ellen, correct?
That is
And when Dustin and the girls lived with you part-time, they were there 90 and but not 40 days, correct?
that's correct.
You have missed some of the slowest lawyers on the planet, some of the worst opening statements on the planet, and a case that should be over with 10 witnesses. This should be a one-day trial. The evidence are, if they show what they claim they show, this should be a one-day trial, 2 days maximum.
So Dustin and the girls were there at your home at a higher ratio than the other girls there.
Yes.
Harry, don't start this today because nothing has happened so far. You will be wasting time. Start it tomorrow.
I don't know anyone.
I would rate this
Eric?
Cosgrove.
Mr. Duren, you talked a little bit with defense counsel about being a Marine and having Marine
Yeah, we have cases where 17 witnesses come in one day. It's not that hard. They don't ask any hard questions.
training with respect to how to use a gun, correct?
Yes.
Part of your training as a Marine also involves being disciplined,
Yes.
when to appropriately use a gun.
Yes.
Does it also include when not to use a
Stupid
gun?
argument,
Yes.
defense.
As a Marine, are you taught to mindlessly fire?
Of course not.
You're in fact taught to assess situations, correct?
Yes.
To only fire when necessary,
Yes.
to take out a threat. Objection, Your Honor, leaving.
That's actually what they're taught.
I can rephrase, Your Honor.
Withdrawn. Sustained.
With respect to your training, Mr. Duren, are you taught as a Marine to shoot at a specific individual?
If necessary, yes.
Okay. And are you taught when and how to decide if it's necessary to shoot?
Yes.
How about an unarmed person? Is it necessary to shoot them? Objection.
Overruled.
You may answer, Mr.
Because the defense tried to use his knowledge as a Marine to teach or to tell the jury that his son was trained to fight instantly and to take a life if needed be. And now they're using it to say, hey, but wasn't they also taught not to start blasting instantly? So this is why I said don't do that. It's a stupid argument because you can bring in every police officer who used to be a Marine, which will probably be 50% of the million officers they're going to call, who used to be a Marine. And they will tell you basic training teaches you the first thing you do isn't start shooting, it's assess the situation. So this whole argument, and it was just Marine training kicking in, he had to go chew, is going to bury him. It's a stupid argument. They should never have used it. The instant this question came up, the defense must delete it from every question they ask of anyone from now on. It's a stupid argument, and it's going to bury him.
Yes.
I guess that one's
It's
lawful.
necessary to shoot an unarmed person?
Yeah.
Oh, holy. You opened the door by talking about how he needed to do it because he was a Marine.
Yeah.
Everyone reacts differently, trained or not. No, they don't. That's why you have training. That's why you break people down. So everyone should be acting the same way. Yes, some people will then get into a different headspace, but everyone is taught the same basic things, so they should act the same way when faced with danger. That's actually why we get broken down and then build up again, because then you will learn to do the appropriate thing at the appropriate time. That's why if you go to, for instance, special forces, you don't see all of these big, muscly killer types that you think that it is. Most of them are small, cool guys, because you need really intelligent people in the military who can keep their head calm and act with professionalism. That's why you train, because yes, if you never ever seen any danger before, you have a pew, you might think, oh, I'm going to fix the problem right fast. But a Marine would have been taught that there's a lot of steps you can take before pulling the trigger, especially when an unarmed woman with a kid in her arms. You can disarm her. Well, you can't because she hasn't got a weapon, but you can do a lot of stuff to her before you have to go to the final solution, not in the German way. But there's a lot of training they are skipping that this guy also had that would be way more appropriate. One of them, easily just twist her fingers and release the kid. That would be the best thing. Just yank her thumbs backwards. She'll almost instantly let go of the kid. It's one of the most painful things you can do. And it's really easy to just manipulate it that way. This whole, oh, he needed to act because he was a Marine. It's stupid.
Mr. Duren, does your Marine training include information on shooting persons who are unarmed?
Yes.
As a Marine, is that something that you're trained to do?
Yes.
Are there certain circumstances under which your training tells you that that can occur?
Depends on the threat at the time.
I don't know what.
As a Marine, you're trained in ground combat.
Correct.
What is combat?
It means taking out your enemy if necessary.
Taking out your enemy? Are you trained as a Marine to be thoughtful with respect to your use of a handgun in combat?
Yes.
It's the father of the defendant. Oh. Why is this taking so long?
Because, okay, can Mr. Duren be excused? Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mason.
Are we going to lunch now? He used to be a Marine and a cop, so he probably, yeah.
Yes.
This is horrible. It's everything takes forever. They don't have the next witness. Now they're approaching for the 7th or 8th time, I think they're approaching now. It's, well, hopefully it's to say, well, the next witness is going to take some time because it's the medical examiner, so we can send people out to lunch. Then we need the lead investigator, and then we're going to say hasta la taco because this Marine defense isn't working, so we're going to win this case.
Yeah, this Marine thing, they need to cut that. Stop.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that that's the line they're going with. Well, he was taught to kill. Don't you know that the state made him do it?
Okay, members of the jury, we'll stop and take the lunch break now. We'll be back at 1 o'clock. A few comments, a few instructions. Once again, as I've already said, please do not talk about the case or the evidence amongst yourselves, and please report to a bailiff if you do indicate someone doing that. And just a few more comments, because over the length of the trial, these things may come up. Lancaster, the town of Lancaster is not a large area. It may be possible that during the lunch break, you may run into one of the attorneys. You may run into someone who is a witness in this matter. Obviously, I instruct you to not engage in any way with anyone who is an attorney or a witness in this matter whatsoever. I instruct you not to do that. If you happen to be grabbing a sandwich and you happen to run into any of the attorneys here, they will not talk to you and you should not talk to them. So please take no offense to that. That's just part of the procedure. Further, we will try to start exactly at 1 o'clock. I do want to inform the jury that from time to time, there are times that there are other matters that I have to attend to. It might be a brief meeting with the attorneys involved in this case, or it might be something like a bail hearing or something like that. We try to minimize the interference. We try to minimize your waiting time as much as possible. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. So please understand that that's what's happening. This trial is the priority for the court. We do appreciate your service and your attention. So we do try to minimize disruptions, but sometimes they do happen from time to time. So we will try to minimize that to the extent possible. And again, please review nothing relative to any media reports about this. Please go so far as to try to avoid even accidentally or inadvertently coming in contact with any of that information. And again, please don't transmit anything by your social media as to what is happening as part of the trial. So I'm sorry for all the instructions, but they are necessary under the circumstances. We'll try to reconvene again directly at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
All right.
All
This
right,
one is for
sweet
you,
1
Brandon.
o'clock.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
That was for Brandon.
Oh, Jimmy.
Well,
Thank you.
hopefully they'll figure out not to take these forever breaks. Are they going to argue or are they going out? They're going out. Oakley dokley.
Oakley.
It's going to be about an hour lunch. Follow on the Discord, follow on the Twit, follow on the Facebooks. If you want to get notified, because YouTube isn't the greatest at notifying. And this looks like a state seal from Temu. Mom, can we have a state seal? We have state seals at home. I'm sorry.
That's
This
6/12/6/8.
this plaque is really really bad.
Oh, gee.
Hold on, I still have stash.
Yeah, we're gonna come back in about an hour. Hopefully, pace will pick up, arguments will pick up, things will pick up because it's been really, really, absolutely slow and boring. Sorry to say it. It should be a case that you could tell a very engaging story from both sides. The defense claims, "Hey, did you know he's a Marine?" And the state is just going to drag people in and ask very slow questions and take long breaks between them. 8, I believe I counted 8 sidebars, 2 of them doing opening statements where you normally don't see any sidebars. So let's see if we can do better in the afternoon and get more in the afternoon. That's what I tried to say. I don't know. I hate slow cases. I hate slow case. I hate, especially if I don't think they're going to do it. Especially if they're going to do this, where we're going to call every cop who was on patrol in the next 5 counties that night. Get to the evidence. You don't need all of this wasted time. Well, it's America. Yeah, do better. You're wasting this time.
Well, it's America.
You need the first responding officer. You need the 911 operator when the dad called in. You need the medical examiner. You need the arresting officer. You need the gun expert. You need the tech guy. You need the crime scene tech. And then you really don't need anyone else, because you don't need someone to come in and say, "Yeah, we went in and we checked the house. Yeah, she was sitting in the couch." Well, most of her was, because she cut a hole to a dome. Okay. You don't need all of that. That's American trials could be so much faster if you didn't need all of this theatrics. Well, as long as you found the Discord, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask Jamie, Marissa, Iris, or the kid.
Yeah.
If you need something explained. They are normally the ones hanging out there. Watch out for Sue. I'm not.
Who doesn't bite?
I'm not slow, and I'm never late.
Yeah, everyone join the Discord. We have fun in there. We do stuff other than trials too. We just
Yeah,
chat,
yesterday-
have movie nights. So
Yesterday they watched horror movies, because Jamie
Yeah,
loves horror movies.
well, it is October, so it's spooky movie month.
It's yeah. Jamie, go get some lunch. The rest of
Me
you,
too.
go get lunch, breakfast, dinner, wherever you are in your day. Come back in about an hour, and Jamie will do her interpretive dance of the crime scene when you come back.
Well, for everyone. Bye.
And why was Jinx up watching the second movie with you? Because that'll have been around midnight. Jinx, you need to tell Jinx to get to bed, not hang around with all
Jinx
you.
is always hanging out late. She parties. She's
Is she
down.
like Iris?
Yeah, she's always up late. Her and Panilla, they both sometimes Panilla come in there and stay up late too.
Yeah, and then she'll complain the next day, "Oh, I was too sick to go and take care of the kids." Oh, well, she will say, "Hi, the Baden, Gaiden, Baden, Daden," because it's Swedish.
Oh my God.